to the postseason. Weather 53. Clear skies, beautiful, but that wind can stir to about 15 miles an hour. And Terry, you walked down on the field a little bit, and you really believe this could be a big part of this game today.
Jim, I think it will be a big part of the game, particularly early in the game. And it's going to be interesting to see if Iowa can move the ball into this stiff wind.
Well, deep kick, downwind. Tim Dwight downs the kick of John Wales, and the Hawkeyes will come out to the 20-yard line with Matt Sherman, sophomore quarterback. He started all 11 games this year. 14 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. In the backfield, he has the all-time rusher at Iowa. Cedric Shaw set a single-season rushing mark also this year, over 1,300 yards. Michael Berger's a freshman fullback. Scott Slutzker, a big targeted tight end. We'll see a lot of him. Demo Odoms and Tim Dwight. Dwight, the big play man for Iowa. Ross Burba, Matt Purdy, Casey Wiegman, Mike Goff, and Aaron Quaker on the line. First snap, look at the Huskies come in, and Shaw does an excellent job of just getting back to the line of scrimmage. Suki Wiggs made the tackle. He's on that defensive front. Jason Chorick, Stephen Hoffman, Deke Devers. Again, it's a reworked lineup today. Reggie Davis, a freshman, moves into the starting lineup. Ink Aliaga, all packed in. Jerry Jensen on the outside in the secondary. Reggie Reeser, Scott Greenlaw, they're on the corners. Ikaika Malloy moves to strong safety, and Tony Parrish to the free spot. Second down, 10. Iowa, again, same kind of play. Shaw losing yardage, losing about 3. Chorick came up to hit him first, and Reggie Davis finished him off.
Jim, you know, the philosophy of the Washington defense is to control the gaps, penetrate deep into the backfield, and put pressure on the quarterback, play man-to-man coverage in the secondary, and that's exactly what happened. They penetrated the line of scrimmage and threw Iowa for a loss.
Now let's see what the Hawkeyes do now into that stiff breeze on 3rd and long. 3rd and 13. Ground, Cedric Shaw, he carried the football all 3 downs and lost a total of 1 yard on that series. There is a flag on the field. Ink Aliaga made the tackle on that play. Procedure, penalty against Iowa.
There's 6 men on the line of scrimmage against the offense. Penalties refused. 4th down.
Officials out of the Southwest Conference. Final year of the Southwest Conference this year, and big win last night by Texas A&M over a Big Ten opponent, Michigan, in the Alamo Bowl. All right, strong punter in, Nick Gallery for Iowa. Greenlaw back for Washington. And he botched it. Football free, recovered by Iowa. That was Dave Janoski trying to field the punt. And Iowa will take over at its own 40-yard line. Gary Cooks with the recovery. This is a sure-handed man, leading receiver for Washington, Dave Janoski, and that wind just played havoc with it.
Well, Jim, you know, he really had good position to field the ball. It went right through his hands, and generally Janoski is a very sure-handed punt returner. What a big break for Iowa.
So Iowa gains about 33 yards on that fumble, starting from the 42. This time there's running room for Cedric Shaw. Look out. Inside the 30. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown, Iowa. Longest run of the season. He had not broken one for anything longer than 27 yards. This one 58 yards and a touchdown.
Jim, this is a sprint draw play where you get the ball deep to the tailback, and Cedric Shaw uses his great vision and simply breaks against the flow of the defense. Washington is in man-to-man coverage, and therefore there's no safety in the middle. Allows him to make that long run, his first of the season.
We had remarked last night, just looking at some Iowa film, that Shaw carried almost 300 times on the season and never broke a long one. And today, just a minute and a half into this game, Shaw goes 58 yards for the touchdown. All-time rusher for the Hawkeyes.
You know, this is a big psychological lift for Iowa, Jim. I think when you go into this game as a heavy underdog like Iowa did, get off to a great positive start like this, psychologically, the players are going to be enthused and really excited now.
Zach Brommert adds the extra point. There was a celebration penalty against Iowa. They'll be tacked onto the kick. But the Hawkeyes, after the fumble, take it 58 yards in one play for an early strike. Well, Iowa leads 7-0, but there was a celebration penalty against the Hawkeyes after that touchdown dash by Cedric Shaw, so it's applied to the kick, and they'll boot it into that win from the 20. Brian Hurley handling the kickoff chores for the Hawkeyes. Terry Holloman back, waiting to return. This should set up Washington in pretty good field position. Low driving kick. Out of bounds. How about that Iowa touchdown, Terry?
Jim, I think when you watch Casey Weigman, the center right here, along with Matt Purdy, the offensive guard, they're the ones that are going to open the hole for Shaw and allow him to make this long run. And if you look up at the top of your screen, after he makes his break right here, you're going to see the left corner for Washington in man-to-man coverage. Therefore, he's not in a position to make the tackle. It allows Shaw to make that 58-yard touchdown run.
When we talked to Shaw this week, we kept saying, well, you know, you have all of these records for Iowa, and you know, how have you done it?
It was impressive the way he kept referring to that offensive line. He referred time and again to my offensive lineman, my offensive lineman. And there's no question that Casey Weigman's got to play well today to make Shaw have a good day.
He wouldn't budge off of that. He just kept saying, hey, they get all the credit. Very humble about it. Cedric Shaw. And they really did, on that play, do a magnificent job of clearing the way for the junior running back from Austin, Texas. Now, the kick was out of bounds, and they'll back up Iowa, make them re-kick it 5 more yards, and they'll boot it from the 15 this time. And the returners back deep are standing at the 30. So, I mean, Washington's going to turn right around, has a chance to start this possession at midfield or better.
Well, you know, the celebration penalty was obviously very serious against Iowa here. Washington, as you mentioned, is going to have great field position, particularly with this win.
Brian Hurley drives it again. Let's see if they can field it cleanly. It's Holloman across the 40. Iowa down there with some excellent coverage on the kick team, including Tim Dwight. He does it all. He's their leading receiver, punt returner, kick returner, and makes a special team tackle. And Washington only able to run it back 11 yards. Here's Damon Huard, all-time leading passer for the Washington Huskies, closing out his career today in a Washington uniform. In the backfield, they'll start Rashawn Sheehy, who rushed for 15 touchdowns this year. Senior Richard Thomas, Ernie Conwell also. And here's the line: Sapp, Kessie, Highfield, Olson, and Battle. Casual drop, pass caught. It's Freddie Coleman making some brilliant moves all the way to the Iowa 40. He fumbles. And Iowa recovers. Jared DeVries stripped him.
Jim, every coach, when he goes into a ball game, particularly a bowl game, talks to his football team about turnovers. We all stress the importance of ball security. We tell our football teams that if we want to be in this game, just don't turn the ball over. And here Washington, a very, very good team, starts off with 2 quick turnovers, gives Iowa great confidence, great momentum.
Damian Robinson recovered. It looked like Jared DeVries just reached in there long enough to jar the ball free. And one play for Washington, and Iowa back out on the field for its 3rd possession. Iowa had recovered only 1 fumble in its last 6 games, and now they've recovered 2 here in the first 2 minutes in 9 seconds.
Might be their lucky day, Jim.
From the 42, where Shaw took it all the way last time, this time spinning for about 4 with a flag down. Ink Aliaga made the tackle.
Jim, it's interesting to me to see Iowa come out on offense and really try to establish a running game immediately. I thought they would come out more wide open, more in a throwing type of mode, and here they are really trying to run the ball right at the Husky defense, the strength of the Washington defense.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
1st and 5 for the Hawkeyes from their own 47. Hayden Fry, 34th year as a head coach. More years than any active Division 1A coach. 384 games, more games than any active Division 1A coach. And his Hawkeyes, 1st and 5 from their 47. Damon Gibson is a receiver. They'll stay on the ground. Shaw, about a yard shy of the first. He's a Texan, started out coaching at SMU. In fact, his first bowl game ever as a head coach right here at the Sun Bowl, 1963. On to North Texas and then to Iowa, where now he's coaching, closing out the 17th season for the Hawkeyes.
One of the real nice guys in coaching, Jim. Hayden Fry, he's a kind of coach, he'll get it going on game day, and he'll get some momentum, and he calls all his own offensive plays, along with Don Patterson, the offensive coordinator, and he can get cooking.
Movement on the left side. Verba moved for Iowa, so they'll give back the offside penalty from earlier in this series. Hayden Fry has taken Iowa to 3 Rose Bowls, 3 Big Ten titles, and
Dead ball, false start, offense.
This is the first class of seniors that didn't get a chance to play in the Rose Bowl, and he's said this week they're a little embarrassed about that. And they know they're playing the Pac-10 co-champs. We're not playing in Pasadena like we played them on other occasions, but they have something to prove, the senior class here today.
You know, the word respect, we might have heard it 10 times yesterday among the Iowa players. We want respect from the Washington players, and they've gotten off to a great start in this ball game.
Well, the penalty moves it back to the 45. 2nd down and 7. Richard Carter has now come in as a receiver at the top of your screen to White in a slot. Into the wind goes Sherman. Over to Shaw. And he felt the presence, I'm sure, of Reggie Reeser.
Here we see Cedric Shaw. The ball's a little bit behind him, and here Reggie Reeser comes up and really puts a helmet on him and makes sure that he understands he's going to be around all afternoon.
Reggie Reeser with 10 career interceptions. He's a senior. Not a lot of seniors on this Washington team. It's a pretty young club also. 3rd and 7 for Iowa. Good play action. Sherman to Slutzker with a flag, which will be defensive interference. The completion will knock him out of bounds at the 36. Reggie Davis defending. And it looked like he was all over the big tight end, who's 2nd team all Big Ten this year. ...20-yard pass play. Pretty good rifle effort there by Matt Sherman into the wind.
Here we see the end of Sherman's pass to Slutzker, the big tight end. A lot of people think he may be the #1 tight end in the country, taken in the NFL draft coming up.
We've got 2 good ones today, though, don't we?
No question.
Ernie Conwell for Washington. The Husky offense, if you're just joining us, has been on the field for only 1 play. This is Iowa's 3rd possession, still early in the first quarter. Iowa leading 7-0. And Hawkeyes with another procedure penalty. Fullback Berger moving a little early. He's a converted tight end, number 85. Still a little awkward seeing that number in the backfield, isn't it?
Well, you know, he wants to be a tight end. He's playing fullback for the coach, but deep in his heart, he's a tight end. Jim, one of the things we're going to see today, we've already seen Iowa with a number of illegal procedure penalties.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
The reason for that is that Washington moves their defense constantly, and it's very disruptive to the offensive linemen and to the running backs. One of the things that Iowa is going to work on all day long is trying to settle their team down.
You said it wouldn't be at all unlikely to see 5 such procedure penalties in this game today. There have already been 2 against Iowa. First and 15. Out of the eye, Shaw up the middle for only about 3. Cedric Shaw, again, 1,342 yards. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. First rusher in Iowa history to do that. It was 3,000, and he's coming back next year for his senior season. Says he has a lot to prove in terms of team goals.
Well, he really has. He really does, Jim. I think he's devoted to this Iowa team and wants to get them back to the Rose Bowl.
Second down, 12. Willie Guy, number 1, has come in for Iowa, along with Richard Carter. Looking that way. Here's Carter taking a pass, cutting back to the middle, and getting inside the 30 to the Husky 28. Tony Parrish, who's moved over to Lawyer Malloy's position today, he was in on that stop.
Jim, this is the first time that we've seen Iowa come out in the shotgun formation. That's going to give Matt Sherman a little more vision over the overall defense. It's going to allow him a little more time against some of the pressure that the Washington defense is going to try to apply to him.
3rd and a long 3. They have 2 tight ends in the game with Slutzker and Derek Price. Oh, what a head-on collision. Ink Aliaga sending season's greetings to Cedric Shaw and denying the Hawkeyes of a first down.
Watch the collision here, Jim, with Ink Aliaga on Shaw. The linebackers for Washington are kept free by the defensive lineman. This is a picture-perfect tackle by a great linebacker from the Pac-10.
Tell you another big reason that play was so key. A 4-yard loss probably made this field goal try coming up very, very unlikely. I don't want to rule out Brian Hurley. Now, he's kicked 2 50-yarders this year. This is 49 yards. This will really test him.
He's 2 for 2 from 50.
This one will be Brian Hurley. He tries the long-range kicks. Brian Driscoll on the hold. Ooh, we got a lot of that one. What a kick. Got it with plenty of room to spare.
How about 3 for 3?
Well, 49 yards on that one. He had not made a kick inside of 50 this year, oddly enough. He was 0 for 3 with 2 for 2 from outside of 50. Brian Hurley drills it, and Iowa leads 10-0 in the first.
What are you sending?
It's for
Back at the Sun Bowl, Jim Nance along with Terry Donahue and Michelle Tafoya. And Michelle, what's the story down there on the Washington sideline?
Surprisingly, Jim, it's pretty calm, especially on the part of Damon Heward, the quarterback. He looks still pretty confident despite the way things are going. After he watched Hurley convert that long field goal, he caught my eye on the sideline, shook his head, and just mouthed the word, wow. Couldn't believe it with this win, Jim.
Well, talking about wow, Washington almost turned it over again. Terry Holloman unable to read the wind.
I think that's the factor, Jim. I think the ball's hanging up very high when Iowa kicks it, and it's going to be a problem for everybody handling the ball today.
Watch the alert play by Greg Quesada. Quesada, number 5, saves the day. It would have been another Iowa possession inside the 20.
It went right through the hands of the receiver. It was Terry Holland who muffed that ball. It went right through his hands.
So Quesada with the recovery, and Washington with only its second snap of the game. 3 receivers in. Jerome Papin joins the starters. Coleman and Janoski. And Janoski led a little too much. Chris Jackson was defending. He's one of the senior leaders on that defense. So let's meet the Hawkeyes. A freshman, Jared DeVries. He caused a fumble already in this game. Lloyd Bickham, a co-captain, and John LaFleur on that defensive front. George Bennett, he'll rush the quarterback. Bobby Diaco leads them in tackles. Vernon Rollins, a star freshman, and Bill Innes-Inge. Secondary, Tom Knight, Les Atkins. They both return interceptions 2 times this year for touchdowns, along with Robinson and Jackson in that secondary. 2nd down and 10 for Washington. Sheehy for a yard.
Jim, I've been very impressed so far with the Iowa intensity. I think they've come out into this game psychologically really feeling as an underdog. And when you play as an underdog, it's easier than playing as a favorite.
Well, you always get into these bowl activities leading up to the game, and a lot of the festivities involve both teams, and they're trying to feel the other one out for respect all week. And I think Iowa felt like they weren't getting it in some of those
I think that's true.
friendly encounters. 3rd down, 3rd and 9. Sheehy out of the backfield. Sheehy fighting for a 1st down, but a yard shy. Damian Robinson, number 3. You see him. He helped prevent moving the chains for the Huskies, so Washington will have to punt the football. Robinson with that fumble recovery here in the 1st quarter. Fumble by Fred Coleman. Jeff Prince with a 38-yard average. He had 1 block this year. Long of 63. There's Tim Dwight. He's dangerous.
Tim Dwight does it all for Iowa. Best punt return man they have, best receiver. Everything they want, he gives them.
Willie Guy is also back trying to field the punt. In fact, it is Guy from the 34. He bobbled it for a moment. Guy dancing around and smothered by Cam Kessel after a 40-yard boot. Well, we'll be leaving tonight from El Paso, heading to Tempe for Nebraska and Florida, the national championship game Tuesday night on CBS. Number 1 ranked Nebraska, number 2 Florida. Both unbeaten on the season. Tommy Frazier, Danny Werfel, so many fascinating matchups in this game. And we'll look forward to bringing it to you and look forward to having you with us. January 2nd here on CBS. Iowa leading 10-0, 6:57 to go, 1st quarter. Sherman, that one seemed to float on him, and he almost had it picked off. John Fiala jumping up in the air and defending a pass intended for Tim Dwight.
You know, Jim, Iowa is one of the only teams in the country that has a tight end stand up rather than down in a stance. And the reason they do that is so that they can see the secondary and read the coverage better. It also helps them on the sweep play. It gives the tight end a chance to dominate the defensive end.
Hayden Fry said that tight end standing up on the line of scrimmage is like my periscope on a submarine. Gives me another set of eyes to look out over that defense. There you see Slutzker on the left side, 2nd and 10. Shaw shakes 1 tackler, a 2nd, and a couple of yards is all. Kaika Malloy on the hit. Said actually the genesis of that tight end strategy goes back to some 20 years ago when he was coaching down here in Texas, and he lost all of his tight ends to injury. They had to move some small wide receivers in there.
Put a small wide out, and the only way he could play against those bigger defenders was to stand up.
3rd down and 8. Sherman across the middle into double coverage. Slutzker was the intended target. Kaika Malloy was the man on the coverage. We'll see Nick Gallery for the 2nd time.
Jim, that was a good defensive series for the Huskies, and they needed that. They needed to get their team settled down and get into the flow of the game a little bit.
Let's see how Janoski now handles the swirling winds. Well, he won't have much of a chance to field this one. Into the breeze. It goes out of bounds inside the 30. 6 minutes, 1 second remaining in the first quarter. It's been all Iowa here in El Paso early. Washington Huskies trailing 10-0. Leon Neal coming into the backfield on first down. Damon Huard out of the pocket, picks up yardage of the short variety. John LaFleur tackled him. Washington shared the Pac-10 title this year after UCLA beat USC in the regular season finale. Your Bruins helped give Washington that share of the conference crown.
Well, we sure did, Jim, but all I know is this UCLA team, all I can say is I'm going to miss those Bruins when I'm gone. I promise.
TD.
I promise you I'm going to miss them all.
I know your heart's still with them, but aloha means hello and goodbye. So we say hello to CD here at CBS, and there's the completion. Ernie Conwell picking up first down yardage to the 40 and a gain of about 10. How hard was it saying so long to the coaching staff and the players there in Honolulu just 4 days ago?
Jim, you know, the emotional ties after 25 years at a great school with tremendous people was very, very difficult on me, and I'm going to miss everybody a tremendous amount. But it's great to be here, and it's good being with CBS and college football.
That's Washington's first down of the game. Leon Neal scooting through the line and darting for about 5. Leon Neal is really some story. The senior who waited 5 years for a playing opportunity, and it amounted to about 4 games as a starter because injuries this year curtailed what looked like a very promising season.
You know, Jim Lambright told me prior to the game that they were going to give Leon Neal a great look today because they really think he's a marvelous young man and deserves the opportunity to play a lot today.
He's the single back on 2nd down and 5. Pass all the way. Well, here comes Iowa. Iowa all over him, and the freshman falls on him. Jared DeVries. He had 11 sacks in the regular season, 18 tackles for losses. And he's had a couple of big plays here early, stripping the ball once and now sacking Huard.
You know, Hayden Fry said that Jared would be one of the better defensive linemen once he matured and got a little stronger, would be one of the better defensive linemen he's ever had at Iowa.
Homegrown, too, from Applington, Iowa. Jared DeVries. 3rd and 14. That was a 9-yard loss. Huard, right side, has his man Conwell into Iowa territory. Beautiful combination that time near the Iowa 40. 23-yard completion on 3rd and 14.
Jim, Ernie Conwell is one of the best tight ends in this part of the country. We're going to have him up in the East-West game a couple weeks from now, and he gets in between a 2-deep zone defense. They had a short defender, a deep defender. He worked his way right in between both of them and caught a nice pass.
Well, his first team all Pac-10 from out in your conference. Huard wanted to go with it, tucked it back under. Look at this, hitting the second receiver, and that was Neal, unable to hold on. And Huard really doing a good job of finding a second, third possible receiver.
Here this ball hits Leon Neal right in the hands. He just drops it. He's got to make that catch for Washington.
Neal opened the season with a 100-yard rushing effort against Arizona State, 135 against Ohio State, and then went out with injury. Came back to star in a game, though, against USC. 2nd and 10 off the option. It's Neal for no gain. George Bennett outside linebacker was ready for that one, and the crossing him up, or they attempted to with the option play, but Bennett read it all the way.
Washington's not been a big option team in the past. They came into this game thinking that they needed to get the ball outside on the Iowa defense. Iowa is stronger than they are fast, and they felt like they needed to get the ball on the perimeter to make that defense run, and they put that little option play in.
So from the Iowa 41, 3rd down and 11. 3 receivers in for the Huskies. And hold on a minute. Let's check the flag.
Start offense.
Mustafa Sobey has come in on the offensive line for Washington, and 72 up there. Bob Sapp was over talking to him after that procedure penalty. Bob Sapp, quite a charismatic and fun-loving guy. What a fascinating person he is.
Offensive line for Washington is very physical, about 6'4", 300 pounds per man.
3rd down, 16. Pass was behind Janoski, and Washington will try to pin Iowa deep. So it was a promising drive for a moment there after the pass play to Ernie Conwell. With 2:21 to go in the first quarter. Now they brought in the quarterback Shane Fortney, the backup quarterback, as the up back on 4th down and long. And Prince in to punt. High snap. Aiming for the sideline. Inside the 20. Oh, he's going to like this. Dwight fields it at the 4. And Huskies are down there defending. Quesada, who made the recovery on the muffed kick, was down there on the coverage for the Huskies. I will start from the 4. New Year's Day, though, on CBS. CBS returns to the Cotton Bowl. Member of our family also for a long time. Oregon and Colorado. New Year's Day, 1:30 Eastern time. Should be a good one. And then that night, New Year's night, FedEx Orange Bowl, Florida State and Notre Dame. They have tangled the last 2 years, each team winning one of those battles by a touchdown. They'll play in the Orange Bowl New Year's night, 8 o'clock Eastern time here on CBS. Into the win from their own 4 Hawkeyes. Tavian Banks getting the carry. He's come into the backfield now and scoots for about 5 yards. He had a pretty promising season. Also hurt by injury early in the year.
Jim, one of the things that Iowa has to be careful of is the field position they're in right now. When you're inside the 10-yard line, your own 10-yard line, you've got a stiff wind in your face. You better be very careful with this ball so you don't give Washington a cheap scoring opportunity.
Somehow keep it on the ground, run the clock. Get it to the second quarter. You'll have a wind advantage, and here they go, busting out of there. It's Tavian Banks. That's a 1st down carry out to the 16. Mike Goff and Jeremy McKinney, number 68, just come in for Iowa, helping clear the way.
This is just a little counterplay to Tavian Banks. Tavian reads his blockers well, keeps the ball up into the line of scrimmage, and forges ahead for a good, tough run.
McKinney doing a good job of pulling on that play. Sophomore who started 5 games this year. And now just 1:24 remaining first quarter. 1st down for the Hawkeyes. Banks, 3rd straight carry. No room this time. Reggie Davis and Scott Greenlaw for the Washington defense. This was a Washington defense, Terry, that the first 5 games of the season got beat up a little bit on the ground. They gave up 233 yards rushing per game the first 5. And in the last 6 games, only 76 yards per game rushing did they allow.
And you know, Randy Hart said they didn't do anything different. They just worked hard and just paid a heavy price to improve.
Iowa already 71 yards in this game, most of it on a 58-yard touchdown run by Cedric Shaw. 2nd and 10. Take the pitch, go inside. Michael Berger, fullback, barreling near a first down, maybe a half-yard shy. Finally, Greenlaw brought him down along with Parrish.
Jim, this is a nice play by Michael Berger, just a little roll play. The nice thing about it is he keeps his feet moving, the pads are down low, and he makes several yards there after the first contacts made by Washington. He hasn't carried the ball often this year, 28 times, averages about 4 yards per carry.
Berger got to start the last 2 games of the season after Rodney Filer injured a knee late in the year. In fact, in the Northwestern game on the first series, and Berger's been the fullback the rest of the way. They measured, and they do in fact have the first down. So last 28 seconds of the first quarter, and Iowa with a new set of downs. They're going to be able to turn right around and go downwind here shortly.
Those are 2 very critical first down situations for Iowa, Jim. Rather than being backed up, punting into the wind, they've got a new series now. When they eventually do punt, they're going to punt with the wind.
Jason Chorek made the tackle for a loss, and that closes out the first quarter. 10-0 Iowa. CBS Sports coverage of the 1995 Sun Bowl will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Magnificent skies here in El Paso. Jim Nance, Terry Donahue, and Michelle Tafoya from the 62nd Sun Bowl. Iowa leading 10-0 as we start the second quarter. 2nd and 12. Matt Sherman firing into traffic and almost picked off by Ink Aliaga. He was trying to hit tight end Scott Slutzker. Jason Chorek applying some pressure on the quarterback.
Jim, as we watch Matt Sherman today, one of the things he does a little different than most quarterbacks, he backs straight up when he goes to throw rather than turning to the side. He feels he sees the secondary and the underneath coverage better that way. It's an interesting technique. Some people teach it, some don't.
He's the son of a former high school coach. In fact, both quarterbacks today were coached in high school by their dads. Sherman on 3rd and 12. To Tim Dwight, bouncing around, trying to get those last few yards for a first down, and Washington denies him. Pretty hard effort there by Tim Dwight, but it'll be 4th down for the Hawkeyes.
This is Dwight against Reggie Reeser. Just a little quick out route, 3-step drop by the quarterback. Reeser comes up, misses the tackle, and Dwight is such a competitive athlete. Hayden Fry told me at the luncheon the other day that if he had 3 players on his team like Tim Dwight, he'd win the national championship in terms of his competitiveness.
Nick Gallery to punt. Remember, this is a guy who had 3 kicks this year, over 70 yards. With all that wind at his back, Gallery kicks the spiral down to the 24. Janoski nailed right there. 42-yard boot, and Billy Reardon, who snapped the football, made the hit downfield. Jim Lambright took over for Don James as head coach back in August of 1993. Coach James retiring, unhappy with some penalties slapped on the Washington program by the Pac-10. He resigned in protest. His longtime assistant, 24-year assistant, took over. Rashawn Sheehy trying the right side, getting about 3. DeVries again in on a tackle for the Hawkeyes. So after winning a national championship, winning the Rose Bowl, Washington was ineligible the last 2 years, the first 2 years for Lambeau, as they call him affectionately. He was 7-4, 7-4, and this year 7-3-1. Real fun-loving guy and really well-liked in the coaching community.
24 years, Jim, as an assistant coach. He's earned his stripes.
Two-time Letterman also for Washington back in the mid-60s, playing for Jim Owens. 2nd and 7. He grabbed by the ankles. John Ortlieb holding on, making sure it was a short gain. Ortlieb, a junior from Boca Raton, Florida. Unusual to see someone from Boca Raton heading to Iowa, although Iowa does recruit quite well out of the state of Texas thanks to Hayden Fry's background.
They've got 18 players from Texas, and 10 of them play actively for him. And Hayden goes to the East Coast as well. He gets some players from the East Coast and from some neighboring states.
Yeah, he's always done well in New Jersey, and there you see 7 players on this roster, including Vernon Rollins and Bobby Diaco from Jersey. 3rd down 3. Huard across the middle. Man was open. A little too steep for Sheehy. Had that one been a connection, it could have been a long one. Talked about Sherman's backdrop. How about the way Huard does it?
Well, see, Huard backs out sideways, sees the defense as well. He has great protection here by the offensive line. He just lets the ball get a little away from him and throws it a little high. The Washington offensive line has done a great job this year. They've given up only 21 sacks all season.
Jeff Prince, 3rd punt of the game. 2 Hawkeyes back. Oh, this was over his head. And right through the end zone. Safety.
Well, Jim, take it from a guy who knows when it goes bad, it goes bad. So far, Iowa has had a great start to this ball game. Washington has had a very, very difficult start.
The snapper was Ernie Conwell.
Conwell just lets his ball get high on him. It just goes right over the punter's head. Goes 20 yards beyond where he could possibly get that ball. Goes right out of the end zone.
Tack on another 2 for Iowa. Plus they'll get possession on the free kick. Iowa 12, Washington nothing. 2nd quarter at the Sun Bowl.
These days, more and more people are doing things they never imagined before. People who never imagined a minivan.
Jim, you know, the wind is swirling on that field. It's very strong, and I believe that bad snap by Ernie Conwell had something to do with the wind, just like fielding the ball has something to do with that.
Jim Dwight takes it across the 40 to the 41. Ernie Conwell, the tight end, all Pac-10. Chagrined about that mistake. But once, again, you hate to keep emphasizing this wind, but it's such a factor here. And once he got it a little bit off the mark, the wind just let it sail. You know, like you said, it was some 20 yards over the target.
You know, when we were here yesterday, there wasn't any wind at all.
Iowa from its own 40, leading 12-0. Cedric Shaw has returned to the backfield. He's the tailback out of the eye. Here he is, Shaw. I'll tell you, that is some 3-yard carry. He had to sidestep a bunch of defenders, didn't he?
It sure is. You know, Iowa runs a little counterplay here with Shaw, and counterplays are difficult against the Washington defense because they pursue so fast to the ball. You can see Fletcher, the tight end right here. He's the puller on this counterplay. Actually gets 2 men. He gets his first blocked and then comes over and gets John Fiala.
Shaw once described playing running back as like a moving maze. And it was on that carry that netted 3 yards. 2nd and 7. Left side, Sherman picked off. Picked off by Kaika Malloy. Pass intended for Damon Gibson. Malloy, who had 4 picks during the regular season, sets up the Huskies near midfield.
Jim, here we have Matt Sherman. He's trying to throw an out route and Malloy gets underneath the out and makes another nice interception. As you mentioned, this is his 5th one of the year. He converted over from the rover back position to the strong safety position just this week because of the injuries that Washington has had.
And you said you felt Malloy really changing positions here. He would be able to handle that. That would not be a big factor for him, and it showed right there.
Right, from the weak side linebacker position to the rover position is not a big change in the Washington defense.
Richard Thomas, fullback, just moves the pile into Iowa territory at the 49. That was Matt Sherman's first interception in 64 passes. So Malloy trying to take advantage of the Sherman mistake. Andre Desaussure has come into the Husky lineup. Number 3 is a receiver at the top of your screen. 2nd down and 8. Looking for Desaussure. And he was laid out by Tom Knight. Tom Knight, probably their best cover guy, Coach?
Tom Knight, the Iowa coaches feel, is their best defensive back, and they have a good secondary. You can see right here, the ball just is a little bit high. Tom Knight comes in and makes a good hit on the receiver just to make sure he knows he's going to be around all afternoon.
Knight, who has had 3 knee operations in the last 3 years, but had 2 touchdowns run back for touchdowns this year. 2 interceptions run back for touchdowns, I should say. 4 interceptions overall. Now this is a big play for the Huskies. 3rd and 8. And did they beat the down clock?
Dead ball. Delay of the game. Offense.
Weren't even close, really, to getting that play off. So it'll set up 3rd and long for Coach Jim Lambright.
You know, I think it's interesting, Jim, when you look at the Iowa defensive secondary, they're coached by Chuck Long, the former great quarterback at Iowa, and they have 18 interceptions on the year, which is a very high number. They're very talented in the secondary, and they're physical. I watched them at the luncheon the other day. They've got a couple real good-looking physical defensive backs, and they match up well with Washington.
3rd and 13. Taken for Janoski. Pass just a little behind him. You said you saw them at the luncheon. They were physical at the luncheon. Was that something to do with table manners, or they were okay in that department, weren't they?
Yeah, they were fine. And when I say physical, I'm talking about how tall and heavy they are.
Yeah, they brought them out and introduced all the starters. And I know you made a statement then. You were impressed by the size in that secondary. Janoski, though, had some open room back there to work with.
He really was open. There was a little pick play that went on right there against man coverage. He was open. The ball was just behind him just a little bit.
New snapper in, Opu Simonovic, and fielded nicely by Prince. And it settles at the Washington, or at the Iowa 24. Just a 31-yard punt. 11 minutes to go in the first half. Iowa 12-0.
Big foam hat, check. Fanny pack, binoculars. That clown better be ready! Baked Tostito tortilla chips and Tostitos salsa.
Tostitos is proud to sponsor the Fiesta Bowl, college football's national.
Welcome back to the Sun Bowl. For Washington, Lawyer Milloy is not able to play today, but he did tell us he would be acting almost as a player coach on the sidelines, and that's just what he's been doing. And one person he's been paying close attention to is Ikaika Malloy, who was very angry at the way this defense was playing early on. He told Ikaika, just calm down, relax, and have fun. Maybe that's what led to the interception, guys.
Huskies unable, though, to take advantage of the turnover near midfield. So Iowa, after the punt, running up the middle. Look at this dash by the fullback, Michael Berger, his longest run ever at Iowa, 20 yards. Again, he just came on as a starter the last 2 games of the regular season. Scott Greenlaw had to bring him down in the secondary.
Jim, you can see the line blocking here by Casey Weigman and Matt Purdy. Iowa is blocking extremely well up front against this Washington defense, and Berger just hits it real quick up inside, and before the defense can react, he's down the field for a first down.
Shaw this time breaks free left side. elusive for sure, and gain of about 5 to the short side of the field. Shaw took advantage of a Husky turnover, 58 yards after the turnover, first play for the touchdown. Then Brian Hurley boomed one from 49 yards to give Iowa a 10-0 lead after 1. Here in the second quarter, bad snap results in an Iowa safety. 12-0.
One of the surprising things about this game is the rushing yardage for Iowa. 108 yards early in the game.
2nd and 5. And Shaw wrestled down a yard shy of the first down. They have really controlled the clock with those early turnovers and with the way they move the football on the ground.
You know, Jim, it's so different than what I really expected. In talking to Don Patterson, the offensive coordinator, I really expected Iowa to come out and throw the ball very freely and make it a real loose kind of a game. Instead, they've come out, and behind that physical offensive line of theirs, they've dominated the clock, as you mentioned. They've also dominated the line of scrimmage with a good 100+ yards in the first quarter and a half of the game.
Iowa coaches from the box looking on, 3rd and a long one, maybe 2. And Shaw gets the call and dives for it. He's going to be a little bit short. Tony Parrish came up along with Kaika Malloy. They may call for a measurement.
One of the worst things you can do in short yardage situation, I think, against Washington is bring your offense tight. The tighter you get, the tighter Washington gets, the more difficult it is to get any air in the defense or make a yard or 2.
Well, let's check it out. For Shaw, I didn't think he was able to lean enough for it, but maybe. Now it's going to be a half-yard shy or less. What do you do here now? 4th down. You've got a 12-0 lead. Wind at your back. About a foot to go.
I think Iowa, as an underdog, will go for this. I think that Hayden Fry feels that his team needs to get a victory here today, and I think he's going to go for it.
Matt Sherman and Cedric Shaw both want to go for it also, and they're coming back out, so they will indeed. Fourth and a foot to go, leading 12-0. And a play, if the defense makes a big stop, could change all the momentum here.
I'd expect a quarterback sneak here.
And with 4 seconds on the play clock, Sherman called timeout. Looked like they're just maybe trying to draw him offside.
Exactly what they were doing, Jim.
Timeout, Iowa.
Jim, you know, we saw Iowa try to draw Washington offside. They called timeout. Now they're right back out on the field, and they run the quarterback sneak the play. I thought they were going to run the first time.
Congratulations. You're 1 for 1 as a network analyst play caller.
Hey, I've been in that situation. I know when you have about a foot to go, give the ball to the quarterback and let him get it. You can see the surge here by the offensive line. Weigman, Purdy, Goff. Iowa is a big, strong front. And you can see Hayden Fry here. He's excited.
All right, so they will move the chains. 1st and 10 from the Washington 44. 12-0 lead, looking for more. Shaw. Cedric Shaw inside the 30, and that's a saving tackle by Kaika Malloy. 23 yards for Cedric Shaw.
Jim, this is going to be one of those counter plays to Shaw where the fullback leads him and he just breaks through a tackle, once again showing the strength and versatility that he has. And once he gets out in the open field, this guy can go. Now, we recruited him out of high school. He was obviously worth fussing over.
He made sure he found you, too, at the team luncheon here, and had a nice visit with him, didn't you?
I sure did. It was great to see him after all these years.
Fumble on the exchange. And Iowa recovers. Shaw with 95 yards rushing. And boy, what a year the Big Ten had, including the Heisman Trophy winner, 1,800 yards plus. Tim Biakapatuka with that 300-yard effort against the Buckeyes. Darnell Autry, and there's Cedric Shaw with 1364, a single-season Iowa mark. He's already rushed for more yards here today than Iowa's total offense.
You know, he carried the ball 42 times in one game earlier this year, Jim, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him carry it a whole lot if things keep going the way they are.
Yeah, another game where he had 41 carries. Really Iron Man for the Iowa team. Tavian Banks into the backfield. Here he is. Cutting. Nice piece of running by Tavian Banks down to the 14. Banks had 136 yards rushing early in the year against New Mexico State, then broke his wrist against Indiana and was out for about 5 full games. Returned for the last game of the regular season against Minnesota. They missed him during that mid-stretch of the year where they slumped and lost 4 straight after 5 opening wins. 3rd and 3.
Tight end move, Jim. Procedure on Iowa. You know, I wonder how much of what's happening on the field is a result of Hayden Fry's recruiting more speed. He talked to me yesterday.
Dead ball, false start, offense.
He talked to me yesterday at his luncheon about the fact that they've gone out and they think they've reduced the difference between themselves and other teams in the speed factor. He's tried to recruit faster athletes, and right now they match up very well with Washington in terms of mobility and speed.
Tried to downplay the speed factor that they have, and he said against that complex D of the Huskies, they can make us look like we're standing in mud, but that hasn't been the case at all. Here on 3rd and 8 to White. Stopped at the 16. We'll see a field goal attempt for Iowa. Jason Churick made the hit on Tim DeWhite, sophomore game breaker. Iowa has a freshman walk-on kicker, Zach Bromert, who made 5 of 6 attempts this year. He's the only true freshman to play for Iowa this season. Other 15 freshmen are being redshirted. Here he goes from 33 yards. Zach Bromert nails it. 15-0 Iowa. So they gambled. They went for it on 4th and a foot near midfield. Got the first down, picked up 3 more points. 15-0 Hawkeyes.
The Lincoln Continental has been so intelligently designed, it can actually read.
Well, Leon Neal is one of the deep backs for the Huskies. He takes the place of Terry Holloman. He's waiting at the 5-yard line. And Leon Neal gamely sets sail from the goal line, but is tripped at the 15-yard line by Jason House. Washington with 5 possessions so far in this game. Only one of them have they actually managed to pick up a first down. That was their 3rd possession. It still resulted in a punt.
You know, Jim, Randy Hart, the offensive coordinator at Washington, said that they were really going to try to feature Damon Huard early in the game. They wanted to have him have a big game throwing. He's a senior. They wanted to have him go out on top. But I think they're going to have to start getting the ball to their tailback position. Those 2 tailbacks have helped them a lot this year.
Sheehy is the tailback out of the eye. Here's Rashawn Sheehy, who scored 15 touchdowns on the ground this year, about a 3-yard gain. Huard started the last 31 games of his career for the Huskies and is Washington's all-time passing leader with 5,692 yards. He broke the record previously held for some 20-plus years by Sonny Sixkiller. He also broke Sixkiller's all-time total offense mark. 2nd down at 6. Good pass that time. That's Jerome Pathan for 11. Chris Jackson on the coverage. 5.5 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. 15-0 Iowa.
Damon Huard has a little brother, Brock Huard, who we recruited real actively at UCLA, Jim. He's going to be a tremendous quarterback for the Huskies in the future. And then there's another little brother, Luke, who's a sophomore in high school. They're all coached by their father, Mike.
It came down, I guess, to you and the Bruins or Washington for Brock Ewart, and ended up deciding to be able to play a year with his brother at Washington. Here's Sheehy. And football free. Have the Huskies turned it over again? They have indeed. Iowa Hawkeyes will take over at the 32.
Jim Lambright right now is just trying to figure out, Jim, how he can settle his team down. In your mind as a coach, you have all these weeks of preparation. You think you go into this game totally prepared, and all of a sudden your team starts to turn the football over. This is nothing but getting the ball deep to the tailback. He begins to cut back against the defense. The ball stripped out, comes loose. It's called ball security. We all live with it. We die with it.
Lloyd Bickham reached in and stripped it loose, and Jared DeVries gets his second recovery. The Washington 3 turnovers matches a season high, plus they had a bad snap on top of it for a safety.
They've gotten off to a real difficult start in this game.
Play action. Sherman wanting to go for it. Looking for Demo Odoms. Greenlaw and Reeser in the double coverage. Well, we were talking just a moment ago about Damon Huard. He had the second best all-time passing season with 2,415 yards at Washington, but Matt Sherman threw for almost identical numbers.
Both quarterbacks are very efficient, very effective.
He threw, in fact, for just 4 yards fewer than Huard on the season. 2nd and 10. Sherman, he's got pressure, and he falls down at the 34.
Washington came after him with the blitz this time, put some pressure on him.
Jerry Jensen, he had 5 sacks during the season. He gets credit for this one.
You can see the blitz coming here from the outside, Jim. Right here, number 40, Jensen coming in there, makes a great sack. Washington is going to pressure, particularly when they're backed up towards their own goal line. The closer you get to the goal line, the more pressure from Washington you're going to receive.
Sheehy talking it over after coughing up the football, and Matt Sherman wants a timeout, facing 3rd and 13. 4:24 before halftime. Iowa looking to add to a large lead here, 15-0. You got the winning color. Terry, there's a man in that Iowa coach's box you're quite proud of, I know.
There sure is, Jim. That's Don Patterson, the offensive coordinator of Iowa.
Get to that story in a moment. You go way back with him. 3rd and 13. Sherman looking long now, tries the sideline. Oh, has it for the first down at the 18.
You know, I was up recruiting in Sacramento 18 years ago, and Don Patterson came by. I was in a coffee shop. He introduced himself. He was working for American Express, and he said he wanted to get into football coaching. And I said, well, you've got a good job. He says, no, I want to coach. How can I get into the business? I said, you know, you need to write all the coaches in the country and work for free. He wrote all the coaches. Hayden Fry was so intrigued with a guy who would give up a job, a good job, to go and work in football that he hired him. He's been with Hayden Fry ever since.
Amazing. Took a job as really a graduate assistant. Said he took a 90% pay cut. But he's the offensive coordinator now for the Hawkeyes and has been for several years. And his young quarterback did him proud that time. First down, Sherman looking toward the end zone. And Richard Carter got a fingertip on it. Reggie Reeser on the coverage. The Sun Bowl, the second oldest bowl in the land, second only to the Rose Bowl. 62nd edition, Iowa and Washington from beautiful El Paso. Rugged beauty out here. This stadium so unusual, just carved out of a mountain. There you see it on that upper right side. Really a very dramatic setting here. And Iowa leading 15-0, second quarter. 2nd down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Very little room there up the middle for Berger. Ingali Aga's name's been called a bunch of times. He made another first hit that time.
Berger's carried the ball as much in the first half, Jim, as he probably has in half the season. It's interesting to see that they're working the fullback so heavily against the Washington defense.
He had that one burst for 20 yards. 32 yards overall on the game rushing for the freshman fullback. They're in the scoring zone is Iowa, but it's 3rd and 9. Threatening the blitz. Washington is always doing a lot of jockeying at the line. Sherman with pressure. He was hit when he threw it. Ink Aliaga again. And mixed up that play. Messed it up really for the Hawkeyes.
Here you see Ink Aliaga blitzing. He's trying to be picked up by Cedric Shaw, and he just runs over Shaw and puts good pressure on Sherman, makes him hurry the throw. Here we see it from a different angle right there. That's why quarterbacks get paid like they do in pro football and why they're the highly recruited athletes in college. Hard to play that position.
Got another field goal try from Zach Bromert. This is a yard longer than the other one he made. 34 yards. Perfect again. Good looking boot. Tack on 3 more this time for the Hawkeyes. 3:28 to go first half. And Iowa leads 18-0. Coming up at the half, we'll go to Tempe, Arizona. Pat O'Brien and Boomer Esiason are there. They're going to be steering us all through this weekend on CBS and right through the Fiesta Bowl and CBS. Glad to have Boomer with us too during the bowl season. They'll talk about the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl Media Day, some updates from Miami and Dallas, and some of the plays of the year. College football. Pat and Boomer coming up at the half on CBS. Well, Iowa has never played in the Sun Bowl before, but they look like they're right at home here so far. Looking for their first win over a ranked team in 4 seasons. Since they beat Indiana when the Hoosiers were ranked 23rd back in 1991. They haven't beaten a ranked team since, and they get opportunities for sure in that Big Ten Conference. That kick with the wing right through the end zone by Brian Hurley. Washington to start from the 20 this series. Talking about the Big Ten, in fact, and how you get opportunities to play so many quality opponents. Iowa finished 6th this year in the league.
You know, Jim, it's interesting to note, too, when you're playing a team that finished in a tie for the conference championship, Washington in the Pac-10, you've got a team finishing 6th like Iowa. The emotional difference in a bowl game like this can be tremendous. And I think that right now, the emotional edge obviously is with Iowa. They feel they need respect. They feel they were disrespected a little bit this week. Washington needs to get some plays, some excitement going to get into this ball game emotionally.
3:28 before the half. Can they score before the intermission? This is Leon Neal. They're alternating backs, Neal and Sheehy. Neal squirming for about 2 that time. Bobby Diaco on the hit. Look at offense so far. Iowa 200 yards. Leon Neal. Bobby Diaco. This play, though, whistled dead.
Dead ball, false start, offense.
Back them up 5. You know, as a coach, you often talk about how do you motivate your players. And when we met with this really interesting young man, Bobby Diaco, who's thinking about attending law school, he said, you know, I really don't need much propaganda to motivate me to play football. I mean, he was pumped up 2 days ago. He was ready to go for this one when we met with him. Leading tackler on this team. 2nd team all Big Ten. What a season, what a career. Here's Stewart. Open, Richard Thomas. And one-on-one tackle by Tom Knight.
Diaco Jim, he made the statement. He says, I never want to take my pads off. He's one of those kind of guys that you love to coach. He's a true linebacker, 6 feet, 235, loves to hit. He's one of those guys that you recruit and you just want to have him on your team and be around all the time.
Jersey kid who really has fallen in love with the state of Iowa and all the great support they get from their fans there. He said he'd like to win this final game for all the Hawkeye fans. One more W for Iowa, he said, is my goal. 3rd down and 3 for Washington. Huard, right before the hit, had Conwell open. And that was George Bennett leveling Huard right after the release. And the Huskies face 4th down. Patrick Kessie a little slow to get up, but he'll be able to walk it off. It looks as though Prince comes back in the punt once more. 2:40 remaining in the half. Iowa in control from the start, scoring with alacrity there on that 58-yard dash in the first minute and a half by Cedric Shaw. And they've added since that time.
3rd and final timeout for this half.
They added some field goals and a safety. 3 field goals in all and a safety. 18-0. Timeout on the field. We'll be right back.
Recently, the Broncos and 49ers showcased their talents in Tokyo. Love is a many splendid.
With Terry Donahue and Michelle Tafoya, Jim Nance from the Sun Bowl. Got a good-sized crowd here today. And Iowa fans brought the whole family down for this one. Driving some 25 hours to get here. Did many of them. Dwight carefully securing the catch. And Iowa has once more good field position with 2:32 to go in the half. You know, Washington's been here for almost 2 weeks. They thought they'd get the good weather down here in El Paso to practice, and what happens on December 21st? It snowed. There they are to practice right here at the Sun Bowl.
Not a whole lot different in Seattle. They just felt they were at home.
I was here in the '88 game, Oklahoma State and West Virginia, where Barry Sanders returned a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown. That game was played in a snowstorm. Still talking about that around El Paso. That doesn't happen real often, but it did happen just a few days ago as well. Play action. I like the way Sherman does that, but this pass nowhere near an Iowa target. Tony Parrish playing center field on that one. Pretty emphatic move he makes when he fakes into the line, isn't it, Coach?
He really is a great play faker. Hayden Fry and Don Patterson really stress faking in the Iowa offense, and he really will dip his shoulders and try to draw the linebackers up so that they play the tailbacks fake and therefore create a seam between the underneath coverage, which is the linebackers, and the secondary or top coverage.
2nd and 10. Iowa now, with 2:26 to go in the half, has used all of its timeouts. Cedric Shaw for about 7. That will put him over 100 yards. So Shaw, who had 700-yard rushing efforts during the regular season, now has 102 here in the first half. And the touchdown, the game's only touchdown.
One of the surprising things for me, Jim, has been the ability of the Iowa team to rush the football. I really expected a different approach to the game, and I'm surprised that they've been as effective and efficient as they have against the Washington defense.
Washington called a timeout with 2:05 remaining in the half. And they know Iowa faces 3rd and 3. Maybe get a chance here to get the football and put something together before the intermission. Again, the scoring 58-yard run by Cedric Shaw just a minute into the game after a Husky fumble. And then after another Washington turnover on a fumble, Iowa was able to kick a 49-yard field goal into a stiff wind. Then a snap too high, went through the back of the end zone, giving Iowa 2 more. And then Zach Brommert added a couple of field goals in this second quarter. One from 33 yards and the other one from 34. So 18-0 Iowa. Hawkeyes 7-4 on the year. Hayden Fry coming back to the Sun Bowl for a second time. Again, his first bowl game ever as a head coach. When he brought SMU here in 1963. Oddly enough, they came here with a losing record. They were 4-6, but they got a bid on the basis of a win over second-ranked Navy that had Roger Staubach playing that year. 3rd and 3. Look at Sherman pick up the first down, and Iowa has the football in Husky territory at the 45.
Jim, Matt Sherman is not supposed to be a runner. He's a thrower, but he came out here on a little rollout play action pass, and the Washington defense sank to take away the flat receiver, and when they did, they opened up a little running room for him and allowed him to gain the first down.
Clock running, 1:45 to go in the half. No Iowa timeouts remaining. On first down, Sherman, look out, look left side, and boy, I tell you, Malloy saw that about the same time I did. A whole open field ahead of him.
Almost turned the whole first half around there. Threw very late into the flat. Here you see Malloy, number 20, playing defense against Price, and right there's a clear field right in front of him. If he just handles that ball, he's going to put that ball in the end zone, and the momentum of the whole first half shifts right before.
1:34 on the game clock. 2nd down and 10. Good protection. Man opens. Slutzker, first down, 30, inside 30, down to the 28. 18 yards. Stop the clock momentarily to move the chains. Iowa back in field goal range minimum.
You can see here Jim Slutzker, the stand-up tight end, drags across the field. Washington is in man-to-man coverage, and someone broke the coverage, and here he is wide open.
Slutzker, the tight end that his coach thinks might possibly be the first tight end drafted this year in the NFL.
Well, he's a marvelous-looking guy physically.
1:05 remaining. Play action. Stepping forth. Sherman still can't get away from all the heat. That's the 2nd sack today.
I was going to have to hurry here, Jim. They have no timeouts left. 50 seconds on the clock.
Deke Devers made that sack, the senior from Seattle. So 2nd down and 12. That'll stop the clock.
You know, Jim, it's interesting. A lot of teams want to stop the clock by throwing the ball into the ground so they can regroup, let the coach call a play, and get their players organized, if you will. Other teams like the quarterback to go up to the line of scrimmage and just call a play and run a play and see if they can effectively execute it. In this particular case, the last play, Sherman just downed the ball. He wanted to get his team organized.
Well, 3rd down and 12, 43 seconds remaining. And incomplete to Shaw. So they'll attempt another field goal. They've already made 3 in this half, 1 by Hurley and 2 by Brommert.
Jim, this is real good mechanics by Sherman, the quarterback. He just gets up inside the pocket. His tackles protect him. He steps up so he avoids the sack. Excellent quarterback mechanics.
Well, this time they're going to bring Brian Hurley out to kick a field goal. He's 1 for 1 today from 49 yards into the wind. This one 47 with the wind. Brian Hurley. Good again.
That's 4 for 4 for this guy, Jim. He is hot.
Well, 2 by Hurley and 2 by Brommert. And the team has made 4 in all. And the most unconventional score now looks a little bit like it's back on track with 21 points for Iowa. Hawkeyes going from 12 to 15, 18, now 21 with all these boots.
You can watch Hurley here. He's excited about this kick. He's one of the best long distance kickers I've seen all season.
Kicked that one halfway to Cabo San Lucas.
And look at Hayden Fry, 300+ games, and he's excited like it's his first time out.
So Hurley from 47 and 49, Brommert from 33 and 34. Talk about a team effort on the special teams, and Iowa leads 21-0. "35 seconds remaining before the half."
Jim, I'll be surprised if Iowa kicks this ball deep. Generally, with this amount of time on the clock, you hit it on the ground, try to break the rhythm of the return team.
Yeah, they'll have to re-tee it. High winds have not subsided here. I tell you, Washington's timeout on that series when Iowa faced 3rd and 3 back at its own end of the field stopped the clock, and here the Hawkeyes had no timeouts, and coming right out of the clock stoppage, Sherman ran for a first down. They ended up again able to add 3 more. Leon Neal from the goal line. Leon Neal with a little room, but the hole quickly caves in. Mick Mulheron on the tackle. Again, at halftime, we're going to take you out to the championship city of Tempe, where Pat O'Brien and Boomer Esiason will be handling all of our studio efforts through the weekend. And talking about Tim Dwight doing it all. He's made some special team tackles today. Here he is at the right of your screen, number 6.
You know, he does it all for Iowa. I've not seen a player in a long time that is so versatile and works so hard for his football team as Tim Dwight.
Damon Huard in trouble and now brought down. Sacked for the 2nd time today. Bill Inge and Aaron Klein combined on the sack. And Washington will likely just let the clock run out.
I think they want to get back into that halftime and try to regroup and come out here in the second half and do a better job. They've had a tough first half.
It has been all Iowa. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Hawkeyes 21, the Huskies nothing. Pat O'Brien and Boomer Esiason will be along with At the Half after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presentation of the Sun Bowl.
Game away to Iowa. Neither quarterback seems to.
Terry, some of your thoughts for Washington in this second half to get back into the game.
Well, you know, Jim, the first series of plays in the second half is going to be critical for both of these teams. Washington has got to get something to happen. The way your team gets excited, the way your coaching staff becomes involved is when someone makes a big play. Washington's going to have to create a big play on offense or defense to get their team emotionally back into this football game.
Washington will receive the second half kick. Washington will have the wind with them in the final quarter. Brian Hurley to kick off. With his big leg, will he allow a return? This time. So the Huskies will start at the 20. First half numbers, Coach, take us through them.
You know, I think the key things here are the rushing yards by Washington. 7 rushing yards. Hard to play balanced football when you can't run the ball as well as throw it. And I think the other key thing here is the turnovers. You look at the turnover factor. You turn the ball over 3 times in the first half. You give Iowa a real opportunity to put points on the board, and they also have controlled time of possession. All of those things have been critical.
Leon Neal opens the second half as the lone deflected there. Bill Innes-Inge got a hand on it and disrupted the play.
Here you see Huard dropping back on the screen, and you see Bill Innes-Inge, the strong side linebacker, gets his hand up and tips that ball. We've got Leon Neal wide open in the flat, but he just couldn't get it to him.
2nd down and 10. Pass. Ooh. Janoski and Huard, who connected so often during the season. Janoski was Huard's favorite target. They have not completed one today to Dave Janoski, and it just seems like their timing has been a little bit off the entire game.
You know, Damon Huard stayed after practice a half hour the other day because he didn't like the crown of the field. He felt it was too high, and he'd never been on such a high crown. And when you play on a field like this, your ball tends to sail a little bit on you.
He's thrown 3 times in the direction of Janoski, and no catches so far for the man who caught 40 during the year. 3rd and 10, and another play that was out of sync with Jerome Pathan, the intended receiver.
Jim, that was a big series for the Iowa Hawkeyes to come out with a 21-0 lead and stop Washington on the first 3 plays of the second half. Psychologically, that's going to keep them right in the ball game. It also makes it more difficult for Washington now to come back.
So 3 downs and out. Prince of the low variety into the wind, and Dwight moves the football onto the Washington side of the field. 34-yard punt with an 8-yard run back. You talked about turnovers. First it was Janoski fumbling, setting up a touchdown, and then Washington's first play from scrimmage would set up another score. Good piece of running by Fred Coleman, but then he had the ball stripped loose by Jared DeVries.
When you turn the ball over and give a team an opportunity to give it to their best back, you're going to have some problems.
So there's Shaw, who scored on a 58-yard touchdown run. Coleman's fumble set up a field goal, actually, to make it 10-0. And a later fumble by Rashawn Sheehy set up another Iowa score. Special teams really huge here today.
Huge. 4 field goals for Iowa, and the safety that Washington had with the ball going over the punter's head. Special teams turnovers are always factors in any game.
2nd and 8. That is Cedric Shaw now in a slot to the right. Sherman with a flag thrown in on Damon Gibson, intended receiver.
We've got defensive pass interference, Jim.
And holding called against the Husky defense for the automatic first down, and Iowa continues to live on the Washington side of the field.
Holding on the defense, eligible pass receiver, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They call Reggie Reeser here with the interference or holding call. He had his left hand on the back of him.
From the 34. Slot formation to the short side of the field. Cedric Shaw will run that way and step out of bounds. Reggie Davis helped force them out. Could be a quarterback change for the Huskies. Shane Fortney is loosening up, sophomore from Mukilteo, Washington. Only threw 10 passes this year. He's a big kid with good speed too, can really run.
Jim, when your team is struggling like Washington is right now, Jim Lambright is just searching for an answer to try to get his club untrapped.
2nd and 6. Shaw, good. In front of him, Shaw brought down by Malloy at the 8-yard line. Michael Berger, the fullback, the center, Casey Wiegman helped clear the way. 22 yards on that scamper by Cedric Shaw.
What happens here, Jim, is it's a toss sweep to the left, and Berger, number 85, makes a great block right there. But the key to that play was really the crackback block by the flanker.
First and goal from the 8. Shaw. Ooh, that was a punishing blow by Jerry Jensen. Iowa scored the game's only touchdown less than 2 minutes into the game on Shaw's 58-yard run. Already in front 21-0. You said that first series for the Huskies would be key, and they came out flat through 3 incompletions, and Iowa just picks up right where the second quarter seemed to stop. Second and goal from the 6. Out of the shotgun. Sherman to Gibson. This will lose yardage, and a 3-yard loss with Kaika Malloy over there.
Just a little quick screen by Iowa, Jim, and Malloy made a great break on the ball and came up and made the tackle. Malloy's played very well today. I'm impressed with the way he's moved from the weak side linebacker position to the strong safety position. He certainly has made an easy transition and played quite well.
Iowa brings in Tavian Banks to the backfield. Third and goal from the 8. This is Banks. Reeser was there anyway. There is a flag in the area of where Sherman threw the football. And, well, the Hawkeyes failed to pick up the first down, so they're getting to the end zone on 3rd and goal. Now, what do you do here? You can leave it 4th and goal from the 8, or you can back them up and make them replay the down.
I think Washington will back them up, make them replay the down, and give them a
holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
You always want to back them up, Jim, and make them replay that play because it's a more difficult kick, obviously. It's 10 yards back deeper.
And, of course, with the infraction being marched off, or the penalty yardage being marched off from the point of the infraction, that takes the line of scrimmage back to the 25. So a goal-to-go situation still for the Hawkeyes. 3rd and goal from the 25. Talk about backing them up. Deke Devers gets his 2nd sack today, the 3rd for Washington overall, and this will require now about a 50-yard kick for Iowa. They had 1st and goal at the 8.
This is a great defensive series by Washington. They came on the blitz. Devers right there gets the sack, but they had outside pressure from the outside. And the important thing here is they really have made this a difficult kick now.
Well, they go to the long-range specialist, talking about Brian Hurley, good from 49 and 47.
I wouldn't bet against this guy.
He hasn't missed from 50 yards. There's a timeout call by the holder, Ryan Driscoll. So Iowa will line up for a 50-yard field goal when we come back.
I do not drive.
Well, you can grab a seat here at Sun Bowl Stadium, or you can elect to climb any mountain. Maybe not quite as comfortable, but nonetheless a good viewing spot as Iowa lines up for a 50-yard field goal try by Brian Hurley. Sidewinder 2 for 2 today. Oh, and look at him hook it through. With how much room to spare on that one, Terry?
Jim, I swear he cleared those goalposts by 20 yards. This guy has the strongest leg I've seen in years.
5 field goals, 3 of them by Hurley, 2 of them by Bromert.
You know, it was really interesting right there. Washington had blitzed Iowa, basically put them in very difficult field position. And here we watch this ball. He hits it square, and it just hooks in, and it just keeps flying. Look at Hurley. He's had a day, hasn't he? And look at Hayden Fry. He's having a real day.
Look at him admiring the length.
He can't quit smiling. He loves it.
Wow, the John Daly of college place kickers. You know, interesting too, as you see the note on the season, 3 for 3 from 50 yards. And before today, he was 0 for 3 inside of 50, but he's gone 47, 49, now 50.
Maybe the further away from the goalpost he is, the better he sees him. I don't know.
Let's move him back. I'd like to see just how far he can make it. 24-0 Iowa. And Hurley continues to excel. Neal kind of disgusted, not getting a chance to run it back. And Washington now will come out with a new quarterback. So Damon Huard, all-time passer at Washington, gets pulled here for Shane Fortney. That happened one time during the regular season against Army. That was right before the half. And Huard said at that time that it put a real fire inside of me. He was raging, he said, in fact, at halftime, that he came back and had a big second half to lead Washington to a 21-13 win over the Cadets. But here's Shane Fortney, sophomore quarterback. Neal running low to the ground for about 5. And let's check back in there. Michelle Tafoya, what's the story?
Well, when Shane Fortney was warming up on the sideline, center Trevor Highfield said to him, look, this is your huddle now. Take over, take control. It's your job to bring us back. A little bit of pressure on the guy, but a nice moment on the sideline, Jim.
Good vote of confidence, too, in the sophomore quarterback. 2nd down and 5. Fortney, again, only 4 of 10 on the season. Here he throws. Beautifully done that time. Fred Coleman. 1st down, Washington.
You know, Jim, as a head football coach, what you're trying to do is you're searching right now. You're down 24-0. You need something to help your players get into the rhythm of the game. I think this is a great substitution by Jim Lambright.
It's a good-looking pass right here, Terry.
Here you see Fortney. He really snaps this ball. He's got a nice throwing arm, motion right there to Coleman. The ball's a little bit behind, but good enough so it can be caught.
Caught it by his fingernails. Now 1st down play, looking the same way. Now just throwing it away to avoid the sack. Pressure from Jared DeVries, who has forced a fumble and recovered another. And he's disappointed there was no grounding call.
Boy, he's been everything that Hayden Fry indicated that he was. For a freshman playing in this kind of a game, he's had a great afternoon.
That 1st down on the previous play was Washington's first down since 2 minutes remain on the clock in the 1st quarter.
They have really struggled offensively against this Iowa defense.
Huard, by the way, 6 of 16 today for 83 yards. Turning over the duties on this series to Shane Fortney. Fortney with pressure. Again, just gets it away in time to avoid the sack. John LaFleur was putting the heat on the quarterback.
You can see number 55 right in the middle of your screen here, Jim. He gets good pressure coming up the middle, and from the outside on the right here, Fortney, because he's an active mobile quarterback, was able to avoid the sack there, but a less mobile quarterback would have taken a sack.
So 3rd and 10. Fortney not having much of a chance. Will find a target on these last 2 passes. 6'4" quarterback going long, this time to Pathan. And a flag thrown against Iowa. Les Atkins defending on Jerome Pathan. And that's going to give Washington a little break, something they've had very few of today. Seen very few times today. Ples Atkins called for interference.
Jim, here we see Atkins covering stride for stride with Pathan. The ball is clearly overthrown. You really don't see much interference in that replay. That's a very marginal, questionable call. The interference may have occurred earlier than that rerun. Right here, their arms get locked up a little bit, but I don't think you can play defensive back if you don't have some contact and if you don't have some collisions. That's a very questionable call if you're a defensive coach.
I know one Iowa fan not happy with that, Tom Arnold.
No, that's all right, though. We're doing pretty good up here.
You don't think they're going to change their luck here now that you got the headset on?
I hope not.
Washington from the 49 of Iowa. Leon Neal skirting for about 4. Lloyd Bickham on the tackle. Welcome, Tom Arnold.
Well, it's good to be here.
Yeah, you follow the Hawkeyes around, do you?
Yeah, I do. I went to University of Iowa, and I try to go to a lot of their games, as many as I can when I'm not working. Plus, I do was Terry's first game, so I'm here to support him.
Tom, I appreciate that. I need all the help I can get.
Well, we got a plan. See, Hayden's going to retire in about 10 years, and then you'll be sick of this stuff. You'll be back into the football, and you can take over there.
I don't know about all that.
It's they're moving though. Washington's getting some life in them, so you never know. Lead's never big enough.
2nd down and 7. Again, it's Neal. Neal bursting through for a first down to the Iowa 35. Leon Neal, and this is Washington's deepest penetration of the day. They reached the 40 in the first quarter. Now they're at the Iowa 35.
Leon Neal gets the ball very deep here, which allows him to see where the defense is overrun, and he'll be able to cut back against the pursuit. One of the things I like about Leon Neal is he's kind of the spiritual leader of this Washington offensive team. Very inspirational player, always fired up, ready to go.
Got a good block from Patrick Kessie. Come the Huskies now, looking long again. Fortney. That was intended for Andre Desaussure. Knight and Robinson on the double coverage.
I talked to Andre Desaussure before the game. Jim, he was in one of our football camps in my earlier years before I became a broadcaster. And boy, that's why I'm a broadcaster. We let him get away, and he's playing for the wrong team.
Tried to recruit him, did you?
We sure did. He was an excellent athlete. He's very tall, physical player, about 6'3", and has a great stride to him.
2nd down and 10. The 35. That was thrown into coverage. Leon Neal was the intended receiver. 8:52 to go, 3rd quarter. Iowa's added a field goal, and Washington will face 3rd and 10. And Tom, we're going to let you hold a little audition here.
Oh man, I'd love to.
Huh?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. You know, I was at the Rose Bowl a couple times when Washington humiliated us, so it's nice that we're ahead here. It's a little bit of revenge, and I like that we're the underdog.
A little payback for 82 and 93.
That's right.
All right.
Or 91, whatever.
At 91, 82, 91. You got Fortney at quarterback.
That's right.
Take it away, 3rd and 10.
Okay, I don't think got a little offsides there. It looks like they might have got pulled offsides, the Hawkeyes. Okay, it was the linebacker. Was it Ennis Anderson?
Ennis Inch.
Ennis Inch. I'm sorry, Ennis Anderson. My own guy. I don't even know. That sounded for me. There he goes. Well, yeah, that's he must have been thinking somebody was going to move or something, because those Hawkeyes are too smart for that, I hope. Hayden won't like that.
Well, that wasn't a real play for
that
you,
really
Tom.
wasn't.
So
that
let's
wasn't
try
a real
it again.
play.
3rd and 5.
This is hard what you guys do. You got to move all these knobs and everything. You're like mechanics up here, too.
Public never sees that.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so back to pass. Courtney, good pass. Let's overthrow him again. What is he, 1 for 5 now, or 1 for 6?
Who was the receiver?
The receiver was Janowski, right? Dave Janowski and Fortney threw the pass. Yeah, he's 1 for 6.
You know, for a minute there, I thought, wouldn't that be something if you gave up an Iowa touchdown on your one play-by-play call?
I would be hated
by everyone.
never live
that one down.
I know, exactly. I should probably leave now while I'm ahead.
You know, Jim, Tom, Washington's been unable to get the ball to Janowski. He came in here, the leading receiver on the football team, hasn't caught a pass all afternoon. Here they're going to go for it on 4th down to try to get into this ball game.
Yep. 4 times they've thrown in his direction. Still no catches for Janowski.
And he was open.
On the 30. 4th and 5. Fortney, great time. Now out of the pocket. Throwing off balance to the end zone to Pathan. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington!
Oh, man, I'm in big trouble. Oh, that was a nice play by the receiver.
It was a
Tom Knight, wasn't it?
Jump ball situation, and Pathan was able to really...
Tom Knight let him have it, I think.
Well, he outdueled Tom Knight. Also back there, Damian Robinson.
Jim, here we see the quarterback scrambling. There really isn't anyone open, and he throws it straight up into the air, and Pathan just out-jumps Knight. You can just see how high he gets up to go and get that ball at his highest point. Great athletic move.
They're going to go for 2 here, thinking that at 24-8, 3 touchdowns and 3 twos could actually get you into a tie situation. There's an overtime rule into the playoff bowl, or the bowls this year, and Fortney looking end zone, and too steep for Fred Coleman. He was open. See the versatility, though, and improvisational skills that this young quarterback has. I mean, that was some tough throw, going to his left and firing it to the end zone, and Washington's on the board with 8:37 to go in the 3rd quarter.
When they moved to the suburbs,
I look like a fairy princess.
they thought they were safe.
Hang on a sec, someone's at the door.
Then a random crime changed everything.
The man who murdered my daughter is free.
I don't even remember what she looked like.
I can't let him go. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I can't rest till he pays for what he did to her.
Eye for an eye.
What are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Rated R. Starts Friday, January 12th.
What are you studying?
It's for Carlos.
In California?
It's a book about maturity.
You can't buy a book about maturity?
AT&T True Reach Savings saves you 25% on all kinds of U.S. calls on your AT&T phone bill when you spend just $25 a month.
Even 2,000 miles away, Jimmy. Privacy? I'm gonna call you day and night, every hour.
Every hour?
True Reach Savings. That's your true choice, AT&T.
Here comes one. Oh, an 87 Buick station wagon. Got it. 74 Volkswagen Beetle. A 285 horsepower V8 6-speed 1996 Chevy Camaro Z28.
Yeah, but what color?
No other city in the world has more beautiful neon signs than Las Vegas, and nobody manufactures more neon signs than Yesco. They buy raw materials from out of state, but they get office supplies right here in town from Office Depot. Taking care of business. Taking care of business is what Office Depot does best, with guaranteed next business day delivery, saving time and money.
Delivery is just a phone call away.
Taking care of business.
Office Depot.
A familiar face is back as hope returns.
Miss me?
The Golden Globe-nominated drama.
I'm moving for custody.
You're not taking my daughter. A whole new year of Chicago hope, Monday, January 8th.
24-6. Washington gets the jolt they were looking for, bringing in another quarterback. Le'Veon Banks. Whole wave of Washington coverage players down there making the stop, including Jesse Finkley. So let's see if this is a boost to the Husky defense also.
Jim, I don't think there's any question that emotionally that was a big shot in the arm for Washington. And Jim Lambright should get the credit because he had the courage to change his quarterback, his starting quarterback, who was good enough to get him into the bowl game. He goes to his backup gets him a score, gets him the emotional lift that he needs. Now I think you're going to see the Washington defense a lot more fired up. This is a very important series for this defense to get Iowa stopped.
Banks. Oh, what a move. Banks past the 40. Into Washington territory to the outside. Dwight out in front with a block. And inside of the 10 goes Tavian Banks. I mean, he got blocks downfield from Odoms, from Dwight. Look at this piece of running.
He just takes the pitch, and you can see him watching the blocking being set up, and he cuts back again against the defensive pursuit. He cuts the ball back because Washington's a man-to-man cover type team in the secondary. There is no secondary support, so they're vulnerable to long runs.
There was Odoms blocking one Husky defender. Tim Dwight was down there, adds up to 74 yards, and Iowa is looking at another score here from the 5. Well, back them up 3 yards with Ink Aliaga making the hit. That's the longest run by Iowa this year, 74 yards.
Jim, we can see Ink Aliaga right here, the linebacker, the second leading tackler on the Washington team. He's going to end up missing this tackle on Banks right there.
Second and goal from the 8. Aliaga dropping Cedric Shaw that time for a 3-yard loss. Berger barreling, looking for the goal line. He's across. Touchdown, Iowa.
What a great effort by Berger.
Matt Birdie helping move the pile just outside the goal line. And Berger goes in for the touchdown.
What a way for Iowa to respond. Here we see Berger, the converted tight end to fullback, just taking a roll play right up the middle, and he breaks right through Parrish. Right there, Parrish has a chance to stop him. He almost strips the ball, but Berger keeps driving, keeps fighting to get that ball across the goal line. What a great effort.
Bromert adds the extra point, 31-6. Berger and Iowa in again. Freshman Michael Berger fired up about scoring a touchdown in a bowl game from 8 yards out. Early's kick angled into the end zone, down again. How about that formation we saw from the Hawkeyes on 2nd and goal from the 8?
Jim, Iowa lines up in a 3-back offense, and they've got their backup fullback, Granquist, right there as the lead blocker, and he's going to lead Berger through the hole and isolate on the linebacker, which allows Berger to get into the secondary. But right here, you're going to see Matt Purdy come in and push the pile and get Berger over the line of scrimmage and over the goal line.
Legal play?
Legal play, you know, assisting the runner, who knows? You know, in that kind of a mess where there's just a massive humanity, who knows?
Rashawn Sheehy for 3 yards. He has really been contained today. Vernon Rollins met him in the middle. Sheehy, 6 carries for 16 yards. He came off a 212-yard effort in the last game against Washington State.
The whole Washington running game today has been shut down very effectively by that Iowa defensive front. .650 remaining, third quarter.
Courtney scrambling out. This time they'll tuck it under. Took a pretty good lick there, too, by George Bennett. Set up 3rd and 4. And Michelle Tafoya, what's the story down there with the Husky offensive line?
Well, their offensive line coach, Steve Morton, is looking for ways to keep his players motivated. He told them, if I see you walking at all, I will pull you from this game. I want to see you running on and off the field and between plays. Keep it up out there. So Steve Morton trying to keep this offensive line motivated, Jim. Well,
total rushing yards today for the Huskies, 32 is all, well behind the season average. Running an option. They're stopped short of another first down. Bill Innes-Ing. 7 straight 3rd down plays they failed to convert.
Iowa continues to impress both on defense and offense. Innes-Ing is a physical player, about 245 pounds, and he looked like he was ready to play at the luncheon the other day. He had that look in his eye like, hey, I'm tired of all the pregame activities. Let me get after these guys.
Good snap. Prince. Willie Guy will try to run it back. He gets across the 40. Greg Casada on the tackle. Well, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, 1 against 2. Nebraska and Florida will decide things for the national championship. Tommy Frazier will direct the Cornhuskers, looking for a 2nd straight title. Danny Warfel, who fired 35 touchdowns this season, will bring in the fun and gun high-powered Gator attack. That's Nebraska, Florida. Tuesday night, January 2nd, prime time, right here on CBS. 5:21 remaining, 3rd quarter. Cedric Shaw for 1 yard. Jerry Jensen got to him first. Matt Sherman with already the 5th highest total in passing yardage at Iowa, with over 3,100 career yards. But Chuck Long, you mentioned Terry earlier, is the secondary coach here for the Hawkeyes. Amassed over 10,400 yards during his brilliant career, including 74 touchdowns. And there's Chuck Long, played 9 years in the NFL. 2nd and 9. Sherman to Shaw. And it's Jensen again. Chuck Long, though, retiring from pro football and coming back to his alma mater, working in the defensive secondary. And you know, he was the runner-up for the Heisman 10 years ago this season to Glenn Bo Jackson in what was the closest race in Heisman history.
Played against Chuck Long, Jim. Very impressive quarterback in his time, and he's done a great job with these defensive backs.
3rd and 3, Iowa. Shaw will try to get it to the short side. Does indeed. Michael Berger led the way.
Jim, watch what happens with Derek Price blocking on Fiala, the linebacker here. He gets double teamed and knocked off the ball, which allows Shaw to pick up that first down on the sweep.
Let's go, Huskies!
First down and 10 from the Washington 49. Aaron Granquist has come into the backfield along with Tavian Banks. Here's Banks. Ooh. Tripped by Jensen again. He's made some standout plays here today. Jerry Jensen, sophomore from Everett, Washington. He was maybe knows something about being in that backfield, because his last 2 years in high school, he rushed for 2,400 yards and a mere 45 touchdowns.
Washington's trying to bring some pressure up the field to try and get this Iowa offensive team stopped, and Jensen blitzed that time and got into the backfield and created some havoc.
2nd and 13. Iowa just controlling the football and the clock. Under 3 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. We'll back them up 5 yards. Movement on the left side.
Dead ball, false start, offense.
9th penalty of the game against Iowa. You know, this Washington team has not been manhandled like this all year. Their 3 losses to Ohio State, 30-20, and that was at Ohio State. Lost to Notre Dame, committing 3 turnovers to Washington in the last 3 minutes, 29-21. And then Oregon beat them 24-22, with Washington missing 3 field goals in that game from inside 40 yards. And here Washington just dominating it. Or Iowa just dominating. Banks. He's got a nice burst, doesn't he?
He really has been impressive so far. You know, Iowa didn't play him a whole lot throughout the season because he was injured, but he's carrying the ball very effectively and giving Cedric Shaw a chance to rest.
94 yards rushing for Banks, so he can join Shaw over 100 in this game. Shaw already over 100, accomplished that by the second quarter.
Shaw's just taking a little blow. He's going to get back in this game soon.
3rd and 12. Seconds on the play clock. Didn't get it off in time.
Matt Sherman doesn't agree. He thinks he got it off in time.
Dead ball, false start, offense.
Jim, one of the things that Iowa does with Matt Sherman is give him a lot of flexibility and freedom at the line of scrimmage. As a result, sometimes when you're changing plays at the line of scrimmage, that game clock runs down, and in this case, just simply ran out on Matt Sherman.
Michael Berger out of the game at the moment, getting the ankle taped. Aaron Granquist has been playing some on this series. But they'll go with 2 tight ends on 3rd down 17. Sherman, great protection. Looks across the middle to Dwight. Bouncing around inside the 30. Tim Dwight. Give the offensive line a lot of credit again. They gave him so much time. 27-yard pass play on 3rd and 17.
The credit's got to go to the offensive line. Here you see Dwight working on Reggie Reeser. He runs all the way up the field and then across inside, and he's wide open. You know, Dwight handles all of the receiving chores for Iowa. He's their big play man. He's their go-to guy, if you will. Touches the ball in many, many different ways.
3 catches today, all of them coming on 3rd down. Sets up Iowa in scoring position again. Sherman all kinds of time. Finds Sletzker last second. And although it only gains a yard, Sherman heads up, able to avoid about a 6-yard loss. Stephen Hoffman was right on top of the quarterback as he released that one. Hoffman, kind of an interesting story, getting the start today with David Ritchie out. His brother Dave was an All-America linebacker at Washington, and he was, as a redshirt freshman, a starter in the Rose Bowl.
Steve's been a starter almost his whole career. He's only been slowed by injuries once in a while. We recruited him out of high school. He's about a 3.6 student. Great young man with a tremendous family up from San Jose, California.
With 14 seconds to go in the quarter, and with the win, Iowa has called a timeout. They have only one remaining. 31-6. The Hawkeyes came in here today as the underdog with a 7-4 record, 6th place in the Big Ten, taking on the Pac-10 co-champions. And after a fumble on a punt by Washington, Iowa scored just one play later. Shaw 58 yards, and another fumble set up a field goal 49 yards out. Iowa then got a safety on the special teams. Then came the field goal. Zach Brommert from 33, then 34. Then it was Hurley's turn to get back out there onto the field. 47 and 50 for 3 total by Hurley today. Then Washington scored on a 4th and 5 situation. Jump ball in the end zone, and Jerome Pathan was able to outjump the Iowa defender. Tom Knight But right back came Iowa. Cedric Shaw enjoying the day. Iowa coming back thanks to Tavian Banks' 74-yard run to set up the Berger score.
Cedric's here in front of the Texas home folks and put on a real show for him today.
Damon Huard has not perhaps seen his last action as the Washington quarterback. Second down and 8. Good fake to Banks. Sherman looking downfield. At the 10, the 5, and down to the 2. Touchdown saved by Ink Aliaga. 26 yards to the tight end.
Jim, here we see a great play fake by Sherman, the quarterback, and he rolls out with the pressure coming from the outside and finds Scott Slutzer down on the sideline. And just as Hayden Fry said, they were going to get the ball to the big tight end as often as they could.
Well, time has expired here in the third quarter. Iowa bound to tack on more points, perhaps. 31-6 Hawkeyes, and CBS Sports coverage of the '95 Sun Bowl will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
In shopping for a luxury performance sedan, Jay Kerness tested the Oldsmobile LSS against the fastest, most nimble machine on Earth, Juma, the Cheetah. The LSS's sports suspension and traction control attacked the course, as did the Cheetah. But while he considered the LSS's precise handling quite impressive, there was one thing he failed to consider. Cheetahs are very sore losers. Will the LSS pass your test?
Nice kitty. Go away.
This is CBS.
Tonight, a family near you may sleep a little better than they did the night before, simply because someone cared and listened to their financial dreams about college for their kids, providing for each other, and their plans for growing old together. They talked to a Farm Bureau agent about life insurance and learned how dreams don't always have to stay dreams. Life is filled with promises, and Farm Bureau Life Insurance can help you keep them.
So what's it going to be, Dion? Football or baseball?
Both, boss.
Both?
Both.
Offense or defense?
Both.
Both?
Both.
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 Pizza Hut. Meat lovers or stuffed crust pizza?
Both.
Both?
Both. Want it all? Now Pizza Hut offers our Lovers Line toppings. Meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, or supreme. Piled high in a stuffed crust pizza.
So what'll it be, Dion? 15, 20 million?
Both.
Both. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
Here at M&M Sales Company, we depend on the equipment in our office, just like you depend on the Minolta copier you selected from M&M Sales. For over 20 years, dependability has been the cornerstone of our relationship with Minolta. We depend on Minolta for reliable, highly productive copiers, and you can depend on M&M Sales Company for prompt, reliable service of that equipment. We understand your business needs because we're a business just like you.
In Ottumwa, tune to Channel 23 for better reception of KCCI.
Back for the fourth quarter with Iowa in front 31-6. First and goal, Hawkeyes from the 1. It's Berger again and another touchdown for the freshman. Game to build off of next year for Iowa.
Jim, this is the same play they ran before with Aaron Granquist, the backup fullback, leading for Michael Berger. Michael's had quite a day. He's going to want to move to tailback here pretty soon.
Iowa has scored on its last 6 possessions. Bromert gets the extra point, 38-6, only 3 seconds into the final quarter. Well, Terry, tonight we're heading to Tempe for The big showdown, 1 against 2, and the Cornhuskers will come out with Tommy Frazier, who can beat you a lot of ways with the run, with the pass. He threw 17 touchdowns this year, only 4 interceptions. Nebraska going for back-to-back titles. Florida looking for national championship #1. What a high-flying group this is. Danny Werfel has just a whole array of receivers that he can go to. All kinds of targets. So explosive. It's Nebraska and Florida national championship game Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time here on CBS.
Jim, you know, in that game, we're going to see 2 contrasting styles of offense, which is going to be a lot of fun for everyone. You're going to have Nebraska, the #1 running team in the country, against Florida, a wide-open pass, throw the ball all over the field.
They both are just so accustomed to marching up and down the field. It'll be fascinating to see if they're able to do it against the 2 defenses.
They've been scoring quick in the past.
Whoa. Been a high-scoring bowl season. Washington finally gets control of it, and they're buried at the 10.
Another critical play in special teams. As we've seen earlier in the day, special teams have been a major factor in this game. And here on a kickoff play, when Washington needs to get some good field position, get a little momentum, they don't handle the kickoff. The ball bounces on the turf, and they're backed up on the 10-yard line.
I'm glad to see this. Damon Huard's going to come back in at quarterback. Didn't want to leave Washington with all those records, but with a bad taste in your mouth, with not your best showing here in El Paso. It looks like he'll get the 4th quarter to show something.
It'd be nice to see Damon really have some success here.
There he goes. Leon Neal out to the 22 for a first down. By the way, Huard will be playing more college action. He'll be playing in a few weeks in the East-West Shrine game and later in the Hula Bowl. And at the East-West Shrine game, if he gets any coaching at all, maybe he'll have some good numbers. He'll be coached by Terry Donahue.
Well, you know, we're going to have Damon Huard. We're also going to have Tommy Frazier. So how can you not win with those 2 guys?
Just put a lot of pressure on yourself. Sean Sheehy finally able to see a little daylight, and he gets first down yardage out to the 33. Mentioned earlier about Matt Sherman's father, coaching him up in St. Ansgar, Iowa. His father, Rich. Well, Damon's father, Mike, his head coach also. Huard tucks it under. Good piece of running here. Out to the 40. Bobby Diaco brought him down. Huard played there at Puyallup High School under his father, Mike, who was here today. Before Damon was the quarterback, Billy Joe Hobart was the quarterback there for Puyallup High.
They've had some great players at Puyallup.
2nd and 3, Sheehy. First down. Washington really looking like it's moving the football with some kind of consistency for the first time today. Huard, can he continue the long line of quarterbacks that have made it into the NFL? 6, in fact, active rosters this year. That's more than any other college. Maryland and Miami have 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Washington leads the way with 6. That's a pretty good trivia question.
Well, it really is, and they've had some great players over the years.
Conwell had a step on the defender. The pass too high. You know, you throw in a couple of other quarterbacks, and we saw that list. Steve Pellure and Tom Flick. And every Husky quarterback who has graduated since 1984 has gone on to the NFL. Would you expect to see Damon Huard there next year, too?
I'm sure he'll be there, Jim. I think it's a style of offense they play. They want to be balanced, but they have a throwing attack, and their quarterbacks are well-schooled, and traditionally, they always put someone in pro football.
2nd down and 10. Payton, touchdown maker earlier from the Huskies, still won't go down.
Jim, Washington has gone into a no-huddle offense with 14 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, just trying to conserve time, trying to see if they can get their way back into this ball game by getting down the field as quickly as possible, not spending time in the huddle.
3rd and 1 to go. Leon Neal easily getting the first. Inside the 30. Down to the 17. 22-yard run. Bob Sapp with a good block on that one.
Washington is giving the ball deep to Leon Neal, and again, he cuts back against the flow of the defense. He had a great game against USC, and I think he's starting to finally get the feel of this game and starting to pick up some valuable yardage.
This drive started at the Husky 10-yard line. Oh, almost intercepted by Vernon Rollins, freshman from Hackensack, New Jersey. One of the most highly acclaimed Iowa recruits ever.
You can see Vernon right here. He drops into coverage. Heward throws the ball a little bit high, and Vernon almost gets himself an interception. Hayden Fry felt that this young man will develop into one of the all-time leading linebackers in the history of Iowa, and they've had some great players like Larry Station in the past.
Yeah, he was a 2-time All-America back in the early 80s, and Rollins actually wears the number once donned by Andre Tippett, played at Iowa linebacker. 2nd down and 10.
Dead ball, delay of the game, offense.
The referee today, Ben Alexander, part of this Southwest Conference officiating crew. They've all been notified that there's a lot of interest in next year once 4 schools from the Southwest Conference join the Big 12 for them to move up and join that conference also.
I think one of the nice things, Jim, that the NCAA has done is go to crews. In the old days, we used to have split crews. You'd have half a team from the Pac-10, half a team from the Big 10. I think that led to some real problems. I like the crew concept that the officials have gone to.
Bud Alexander's crew doing a good job today. 2nd down and 15. Hathan down to the 4. 1st and goal to go for Washington. 18 yards, and suddenly Heward's come back, and he looks like a different player. And they continue the no huddle. Neal comes out. Richard Thomas, fullback, comes in. 3-receiver formation. Coleman caught. Touchdown, Washington. Fred Coleman, sophomore from the state of Texas, comes back to the Lone Star State and scores a touchdown in the Sun Bowl. Damon Heward with some nice work on that series.
I think it's interesting, Jim, to see a team go into no huddle offense with about 13, 14 minutes left on the clock. Watch them drive down the field and really get the game back into perspective here. I think they've given themselves a chance now to go for 2 and make this a more respectable game, and quite possibly in the last 12 minutes here make it real interesting.
2-point try. Going left all the way. Pathan was the intended receiver. Ples Atkins, the defender, but Washington scores its 2nd touchdown in the half. Damon Heward firing a touchdown. Huskies get on the board again. Well, Iowa leading 38-12. Washington kicks away. Iowa had everyone up anticipating an onside kick. That's something Jim Lambright hasn't been afraid to try. Not necessarily in a game-ending situation either.
Well, he's had several trick plays throughout his 3 years as head coach at Washington. Fake punts, onside kicks. Has executed several of them quite effectively, too.
12:20 remaining in the game. Jim Lambright and the Huskies, first bowl game since the '93 Rose. Ranked 20th in the country. Iowa hasn't beaten the ranked team since 1991. Down them right there. How about Iowa on offense here? The last 6 possessions. Look what they've done.
Well, Jim, they have moved the ball against the Washington defense much better than I ever anticipated, and I'm sure than Washington anticipated. They have been able to run the ball. They haven't really done it with their throwing game, which they came into the game noted for. They were averaging 225 yards a game coming in throwing the ball.
263 yards rushing.
Way above their average.
Another nice gain on the ground for Iowa. That's an 11-yard run, and he has a 100-yard day now. So Banks and Shaw, 2 backs over 100, 106 in fact for Tavian Banks on only 9 carries. Picked up 74 though on that one run in the 3rd quarter.
Very seldom in football, Jim, do you have 2 backs go over 100 yards and not win the game.
3rd and 2. How about that hit? Tony Parrish coming up, joining Ink Aliaga. And a first down for Iowa. Ink Aliaga. Most unusual first name, Ink. Young man from Hawaii. Brothers Eddie and Vic live in Seattle. Back home, Link and Ing, and sisters Queenie and Queena. Aliaga.
Be a preseason All-American coming up this next season.
So they move the chains once more. Been in on 14 tackles as Aliaga. There's a good stop of Michael Berger. Ivalico, Mike Ivalico making that hit.
Ivalico is one of the most versatile defensive linemen Washington has. Plays both defensive end and defensive tackles. Been willing to play both positions for the Husky staff.
2nd down and 12. Another good run. They're moving in on 300 yards rushing as a team. I got to ask you, how much does this have to do without Lawyer Malloy being in there today, out with that broken toe?
Jim, I don't believe it has that much to do with it. I think to say that would discredit the Iowa offensive line. I think the Iowa offensive line has controlled the line of scrimmage from the very first series of the game. And as a result, even Lawyer Malloy, he plays in the secondary. If he's going to make a lot of tackles, he's going to come up, make them for 4 or 5 yard gains. He's not going to make them for 1 or 2 yard gains.
They didn't need a lawyer today. They needed an accountant for all these numbers that Iowa is posting. Malloy, by the way, a junior, and will perhaps be going to the NFL a year early. Thanks for no gain on that play. On 1st and 10, Reggie Davis and Jerry Jensen combine on the hit. Malloy says he definitely will explore NFL possibilities, but he hasn't made any commitment yet.
He reminds me, when I watch him play, a lot of the great Kenny Easley we had at UCLA, Ronnie Lott at USC, Eric Turner, those kinds of safeties. I think he's a marvelous young prospect, and I hope he stays in college and plays his senior year. I believe that's what he should do, but he very well might come out.
You were still coaching at UCLA, you wouldn't want him back. 2nd down and 11. And Banks for about 2. Deke Devers on the tackle. You get beat like this and you start wondering, okay, maybe we set up this whole week the wrong way. They've been here for so long, you know, all kinds of things start going through your head. Does that play any factor at all, though?
Jim, it really does. I think what you do is you end up second-guessing everything you did, from coming down here early to practicing every day here at the stadium, as opposed to a different site where you would maybe get as bored. I think everything you do as a head football coach and as a coaching staff comes under the microscope once you have this kind of a game going on, and you just wonder, why didn't we handle the ball well? Why did we turn it over? Why didn't we play better than we have?
That was an unusual sight there. Tim Dwight dropping the football, not holding on. Would have been a first down reception, but instead Iowa now will have to kick the football away with Nick Gallery. Gallery, first team all Big Ten, had a 45-yard average this year. Would have been second in the nation. There's Greenlaw injured.
Scott Greenlaw has done a terrific job all season long for Washington. Former walk-on player, plays big in every game, has a competitive heart. We've tried to pick on him several years when we were coaching against him, and it was hard to beat him. He's a very good defensive back.
Gallery did not have enough attempts to qualify in the NCAA stats, but it would have been second in the nation. Reminds some of a former Iowa punter named Reggie Roby. Thunderfoot. Look at this, into the wind. Janoski lets it go, and the Hawkeyes stop it near the goal line. That kind of a day for Iowa. Gallery with a 56-yard punt into the wind. Good save here by Gibson and Cooks.
Big.
Scott Greenlaw, first came to Washington as a walk-on. He first, out of high school, received an appointment to the Air Force. Scholarship football player, got injured. Ended up heading back home to Washington. And here today in his final game, we're hearing separated shoulder for Scott Greenlaw.
Jim, one of the interesting things of the game is where Washington has started this half. Their own possessions have been on the 20, the 20, the 20, the 10, and now the 1-yard line. They've been backed up all day long by the Iowa defense and the Iowa kicking game.
Second down 7. Here's the option play again. They've shown it 2 other times today. It really hasn't worked. Bill Inge was right there. So 3rd and long coming up. And let's go back down to the sidelines. Michelle?
Well, Jim, this Washington senior class has faced so much adversity since the time they entered Washington. This season, they've dedicated themselves to the memory of Travis Spring, who was a teammate who died back in 1992 from cancer. He was just 18 years old, and everyone has such bittersweet memories about him. They've worn black bands around their right ankles, the senior class has all season long. Jim Lambright recruited this young man. They lost him when he was just 18, and in one final tribute, they will have his initials, TS, engraved into the side of their Pac-10 rings, suggesting that he's still very much a part of this team, Jim.
I tell you, talking to the team this week, they still get choked up just talking about Travis Spring. They're going to have a ring made for the family to celebrate this Pac-10 co-championship and remembering him this season. Well, we're back, 4th and a foot to go for the Huskies at their own 10. They're actually going to go for it. Huskies big guns today that haven't had their usual output. Janoski and Sheehy, 4th and a foot from their own 10.
I think you've got to go for this just to make your team feel like you're trying to win this game.
They run the option and it's a disaster. Chris Jackson will turn it over to the Hawkeyes at the 3-yard line.
Jim, it's Iowa's day. Jim, Washington's going to run an option play with Hewitt. He comes down the line of scrimmage, and Chris Jackson plays it beautifully. He comes up and takes the pitch. Hewitt doesn't option him. The ball's at the 3-yard line, 4-yard line for Iowa.
Boy, Chris Jackson, co-captain on that defense. Big play. And now they finally blow the whistle. Granquist moved a little early.
False start. Offense.
Jim, here's another look at that big option play. You see Hewitt comes down the line of scrimmage. He has about a foot to make the first down. Really, he needed to tuck that ball up into the line of scrimmage and dive for the first down marker. Instead, he pitched it. Jackson's out there on the pitch man. Big loss.
Chris Jackson from Houston, the senior. Great kid who loved his experience at Iowa, playing in a Hawkeye uniform for the last time. Here comes Berger. No gain. Jensen on the tackle. Chris Jackson didn't want his mother to come over from Houston to watch the game because she's never seen him win a football game in his entire career. We're talking back to high school, junior high.
You know, lots of coaches, lots of players are superstitious.
I guess.
I tell you, I always felt if we stayed at a hotel and we went and lost the game, I never wanted to stay in that hotel again. I wanted to have a clean new start.
Second and goal from the 9. 5:54 remaining. And look at this little razzle-dazzle. Tim Dwight looking around. Ryan Driscoll was the quarterback on this play. Now Dwight throws, and it's intercepted. Reggie Reeser gets the football back for Washington. Iowa slipped in there. Ryan Driscoll at quarterback. Looked like they were going to try at first to go back to the quarterback.
There's no question that was the old throwback to the quarterback. Nobody has him in man-to-man coverage. Theoretically, you expect him to be wide open, and Dwight just couldn't get it to him. Washington played the play well. Here, Dwight just acts like a football player. He's open in the backfield. He's a fast player, and now all of a sudden he sees it and Reeser intercepts it right in front of him. Tim will wish he had that one back.
He knows he's going to take some razzing from his teammates.
He'll be
he can laugh about it when it's 38-12, right?
No question. He'll be talking about that one for a while.
Leon Neal. Look at that cutback move. All the way out to the 43. He's putting up some pretty good numbers now. That's a 23-yard run by the senior from Long Beach, California. 9 carries, 65 yards.
You know, Leon was hurt earlier in the season. Looks like he just hurt his leg once again.
Yep, toe. He maybe re-aggravated. He's had an operation, and he's in obvious pain here. Leon Neal. They actually traveled him to their game at UCLA, put him on the 60-man travel team because Jim Lambright said, I just couldn't justify taking anyone else. He is the heart of this team. So supportive as he's had to sit on the sidelines, first behind Napoleon Kaufman all those years, and then this year with injury, watching Rashawn Sheehy, Russian Rashawn, get all those snaps and carries and big yardage. Never let him down. Never got him down.
Leon is one of those athletes who's very competitive, and he really is the heart and soul of this football team, and is an emotional leader as well as a verbal leader.
5:26 to go. Ewert. There's a good-looking pass play to the backup tight end, Cameron Cleland. You know, one guy, you go back through the annals of coaching at Washington that you wouldn't expect, coached in 1956, Darrell Royal, who did a little business down here in the state of Texas later on, huh?
I'll tell you, he was one of the all-time great ones in college football, and I didn't even know until yesterday that he coached at the University of Washington.
From the 44, the Hawkeyes, sack time for Brett Chambers. Junior from Council Bluffs, Iowa. And we hear now that Leon Neal, that was not a re-aggravation of that toe injury, but only a cramp. So he could return. Sheehy, meanwhile, has taken his spot, tailback. Timeout called by the Huskies. Just under 5 minutes remaining. Iowa on its way to victory. And we're back with Washington near midfield. Huard flushed out of the pocket. Now tucks it under. And he gets back to, well, almost the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and long for the Huskies, trailing 38-12. You know, we talked about Lawyer Malloy not playing today, but I know David Ritchie was a player that you had great respect for after seeing him this season. The junior defensive lineman out today with a knee strain.
Well, I really did, Jim. I think that unquestionably Washington misses his leadership on that defensive front. He was a very aggressive player for them throughout the year.
3rd down pass play. Neal to the 38. It'll be 4th and about 5 to go with 4 even minutes remaining. But hold on. Let's get an old offensive holding call against the Huskies.
When it's going bad, Jim, it's going bad.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
Well, we said at the start it's been a season of what-ifs for Washington. Those close calls. Had they not seen USC bounce back from a 21-0 deficit to tie the game in the 4th quarter, or 3 errant field goals against Oregon, they'd have been playing in the Rose Bowl. They shared the Pac-10 title. Huard said it's been such a tough season. Sad we should be in the Rose Bowl, but today they've just been completely outplayed. 3rd 27. Leon Neal. Neal finding the holes for the 1st down. Wow. So comes back from the cramp that brought him out for a few plays, and Washington will continue to move the football now. A new set of downs from the 28.
A lot of times, Jim, when you have this kind of a game in a bowl game, you can go back and you can have a tougher off season. You can talk about what might have been. Hey, we needed to go win that bowl game. Next year, let's win this game. And I think sometimes psychologically, when you come off of a tough afternoon like Washington is, you can go back and you can gain from it. You can actually be a better football team in the long run. You suffer temporarily, but in the long run, you can get better.
Steve English on the back end of this play, or after the pass, decked the quarterback, and they're calling it roughing the quarterback. So tack on more yardage. Football moves now to the 15 of Iowa. Rashawn Sheehy is in there now. It looked like Washington moved. It looked like a procedure penalty, perhaps. Huard, nonetheless, takes it inside the 10.
Jim, you've got to be impressed with the job that Hayden Fry and his staff has done. They came in here heavy underdogs, finishing 6th in the Big Ten Conference. They play against the Pac-10 co-champion. They want to get respect. They're certainly going to come out of this afternoon's game with a lot of respect and a lot of emotion and energy going into next season.
Motion penalty against the Huskies.
You know, people always wonder why the coach doesn't smile towards the end of the game. That's because we never think it's over. Until we see it's over, we can't relax. You can't relax as a head coach.
I remember when you were here, I guess it was 91, and you beat Illinois 6-3 in a thriller. In the closing seconds, you still had a real concerned look on your face. But you held on for victory in that one. Hayden Fry and Washington. Timeout, Iowa. We'll be right back. Gnosis murder and picket fences all the night, starting at 8 o'clock. Huard flings it. Conwell makes the move for the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. 20-yard touchdown pass to Ernie Conwell.
You know, he's been silent most of the afternoon. He came in here as the first string tight end in the Pac-10. He's going to be a high-round draft choice coming up.
Had to play most of his career behind Mark Bruner, #1 pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers last year at tight end. This guy has a lot of talent, too.
Huard did a nice job trying to find him. He had great protection by the offensive line, and finally, eventually got the ball to Ernie Conwell, and he put 2 hands on it and crossed the goal line.
Now going for 2. Can they up the total to 20? Well, football 3, no chance for that play to ever happen. So 3 times they've gone for 2 and failed to make it all 3 occasions. Ernie Conwell and Richard Thomas likely playing together on the football field for the last time today. And there's Thomas, first man to greet him as they come off. What a great story for these two. They go so far back to grammar school together, growing up in Kent, Washington. Played side by side in junior high school. They were co-captains in high school as well, lined up in the same backfield, played linebacker side by side on defense. One time in high school, Thomas was the snapper on a Conwell 45-yard field goal. Then they went on to Washington together. They were roommates there. They both ended up marrying girls who had gone to junior high with them, were cheerleaders there at Sequoia Junior High. They both have baby girls now. They both have graduated as of this month of December at the University of Washington. Best of friends, and today suiting up for the last time as teammates.
There'll be an element of sadness, Jim, in that locker room when this game's over. You'll see those 2 players, all the Washington players, come together. It's sad when a team says goodbye to one another. You've had such great work and so much fun and so much heartache along the road. It gets to be sad when it's all over.
Here's the onside kick attempt, and Iowa handled it so cleanly with Chris Kniper, backup tight end. Well, CBS Sports will stay in the Lone Star State for tomorrow's college basketball game between North Carolina and the Texas Longhorns, 4 o'clock Eastern time. The Heels and the Horns coming your way tomorrow right here on CBS.
Here's that big Iowa offensive line. They've had a great day. Dominated the line of scrimmage all day long.
And the handoff to Damani Shakur. Damani Shakur finally got a chance to play quite a few snaps in the last game against Minnesota. Game Iowa won 45-3. A walk-on on the football team. He competes for the Iowa track team. Scored a couple of touchdowns against the Golden Gophers. He's another one of these guys so invaluable. Always at practice, knowing he's not going to get much of a chance to play. By the way, Iowa has backup quarterback Ryan Driscoll in there. 2nd and 11. Driscoll, that was a good pass. And Richard Carter couldn't make the catch at the 40. Driscoll was the starter last year and then suffered a broken collarbone, losing his starting job to injury. That's when Matt Sherman, as a freshman, stepped in and started the final 2 games of the year, and has been Sherman all 95.
You know, a lot of people might wonder why you put a guy like Ryan Driscoll in the game late here and let him start right off throwing the ball. But Hayden Fry has total confidence in this young athlete. He believes that there's not much drop-off between he and Matt Sherman.
3rd and 11. Damani Shakur. It's about 6. John Fiala makes the tackle. So Iowa faces 4th down with 2:27 to go, clock running.
Number 2, Damani Shakur. Stop by number 57, John Fiala.
You know, there's a player on Washington we ran into this week. Quite a fascinating story. Cam Kissel. There he is. Junior from Manhattan Beach, California. As Brian Hurley punting this time, not Gallery. And Neal makes the catch at the 21-yard line. Cam Kissel, we found out. Michelle Tafoya, you used to babysit for Cam Kissel.
She probably doesn't want to admit that, Jim.
Let me just tell you, Jim, if I could tell you stories, I'm surprised he grew up to be such a fine young gentleman, because he was a little terror.
He spoke very highly of your babysitting skills, let me tell you. Shane Fortney will come out to direct the Huskies here in the final 2 minutes of the game. So Iowa with a little payback after losing to the Huskies in 2 Rose Bowls. Rose Bowl back in 1982 and 1991. Damon Ewart, his career now all over. The performance after being pulled the first time looked pretty strong.
It really did. He came back like all champions do, and he's a very competitive player, and he'll have a better day somewhere down the line.
Fortney to Conwell. Conwell's 4th catch of the day. 1 went for the touchdown, the last one. The last Husky touchdown, that is. And there's Matt Sherman. He's got 2 more years and 2 promising years ahead for this quarterback. Directing Iowa today to its first win over a ranked team since 1991.
Those Iowa players, Hayden Fry and the staff, they're all so excited. You put all the effort and energy into a bowl game to come out of here a winner. It's a great feeling.
Fortney now with pressure goes down. Another sack for Brett Chambers. That gives him 2 today. He had 3 during the season.
Brett Chambers with the sack for Iowa.
Second down, 19. Tom Knight decking Cameron Cleland. Stopping the clock, 40 seconds to go. What a streaky season for Iowa. Opening with 5 wins, then losing 4 straight to Penn State, Ohio State, Illinois, and Northwestern. And now closing out the season with 3 wins. So 5 wins, 4 losses, 3 wins.
Jim, they're not going to remember those 4 losses very much. I think the feeling on a football team is what's happened to you recently. They're excited.
Great acknowledgement there from Coach Fry, and all the Hawkeye fans saw it. Thousands of them making the journey down here to Texas. They really do travel with their team. Holding call, by the way, against the Huskies, as now they just run it out with 27 seconds to go. Shane Fortney will contend next year for the starting quarterback job, along with Damon Huard's younger brother, Brock. You mentioned him earlier. Brock had to make his decision, Washington or UCLA, and he ended up joining his brother's team. He's a lefty, and Damon says he's already bigger, and he's going to be better than what I did here for the Washington program.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. He's a great young prospect, but Fortney will not give up that job easily.
3rd and 31. Richard Thomas. Hayden Fry, a Texan born in Odessa, comes over to El Paso, West Texas today, collects a big win for his program. They're going to carry him off the field. 8-4, the Hawkeyes have beaten a ranked team for the first time in 4 years. Thoroughly dominating the Pac-10 co-champions. Iowa has won the Sun Bowl 38-18.